Yeah, get the bread plugs. I need to plug this up. Get the one that's plugged up into your little green tablet. All right, so the agenda.
Hold on one second. Let you know when we're full up. We're starting to go live in a minute.
Okay. Do I have the red line from Marlon?
Okay, we are street. Ready?
What's the page?
Work. Let me know. Let me know when I can record the room. Start recording.
This one? Yeah, plug this up.
Us. This one?
Yeah, plug this up for me, please.
And everybody muted.
Yes.
If you're not talking,
I want to put my iPad.
really pink recording.
Uh-oh, we have no place.
Okay, I'm plug this up here.
Ow!
Marlon, where are you? Okay.
That hurts.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We're ready to go. We're gonna start this off.
Oh, Aiden, move that. Oh, please.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, I'm gonna mute once again, everybody. Please keep your mics muted. It's very important if you're not talking. And that video, just please leave it off until you're called upon, except for, of course, the commissioners. Thank you.
Okay. Town of Pembroke Park. Special Commission meeting Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020 at 6 o'clock p.m. Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cohen,
Here.
Commissioner DeVille. Commissioner DeVille,
Here.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes, I'm here.
Vice Mayor Clark,
Here.
Mayor Mohammed.
Here. So I'm just gonna go through a disclaimer right quick. Town hall is closed to the public. Public access to this virtual meeting can be accomplished as follows. You can dial in using your telephone by calling 1-866-899-4679. That's 1-866-899-4679, or by calling 1-312-757-3117. That's 312-757-3117. The access code is 322-976-957. Again, the access code is 322-967-957. During the meeting, you can submit a text or leave a message at 954-707-9820. That's 954-707-9820. Any member of the public wishing to comment publicly on any matter, including items on the agenda, may submit their comments by email to the interim deputy clerk at townofpembrokepark.com. That's TOWNCLERK@TOWNOFPEMBROKEPARK.com. Okay, with that being said, I'm hoping my little camera is clear enough to see that. If it is, I'm gonna leave it up for 2 seconds. And then we're gonna go on to adding or removing anything from the agenda.
Yes, Mayor, I have something I'd like to remove.
Okay, what's that?
Well, on the consent, you're talking about the consent?
No, not for consent. If anybody wants to add
Oh.
anything to the actual agenda itself.
No. I just have something else.
Yes, I would like to add something.
Okay,
Paperwork.
what would you like to add?
I'd like to add something about the agro eco garden.
Okay. Okay,
So when we discuss that later on, I've got something I'd like to add in there separate.
okay, that's fine.
May I, Mayor?
Yes, you may.
Yes, you know what? I do have something I'd like to add. I'd like to add our manager when we're gonna interview our managers. So, Scott, when we're gonna start the process. So we'll have a discussion on that.
Okay. But actually, Yolanda was gonna have a discussion about that as well.
Oh, good.
So,
Okay.
and then, one thing I would like to add is a sign variance. Those are the 3 things that we'd like to add. So, I'll entertain a motion.
Wait, 1 second, Mayor, wait 1 second.
Yes.
I'm getting a lot of feedback somewhere. The 3 items are Clerk Commissioner is adding something to the Agro Eco Garden. Commissioner Cohen is asking in regards to the manager, when the interviews of the managers are gonna take place. And the last item you said was sign variance?
That's correct.
Sign variance, okay. How about the items that were placed at the end of the agenda today?
Where's that at?
It's on the website because I wasn't able to provide you all with it. Do you want me to go over it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we currently have a couple of items that were added to the agenda earlier today, and they are as follows. We have the discussion on, it's 12A. It's Broward County College. It's the discussion having to do with bringing in the college into our 3rd floor. We have 12B, which is the newsletter that the Vice Mayor Clark is putting together for the food forest. Item 12C is the Comcast emergency temporary upgrade for our town at the present time. 12D is the resolution for the code enforcement applicant that was submitted a few months ago, and I have the background check completed. So that's why that resolution is coming forth. 12E is the 2020 local option gas tax, the 6 cents. 12F is the 2020 local option gas tax, 5 cents. And 12G is the local option tax of 3 cents. So those are the items that have been added to the back end of the agenda. Mayor Mohammed, you have you had brought forth as well the temporary sign code. Is that the same as the variance?
Temporary sign code. No, that's it. I don't have a copy of that agenda.
Okay. That's what's up on the website.
All right, let me try to print that up because I want to be able to follow through on that agenda versus the one that's in the book. So give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
I have to comment about what Marlon did with my item. My item is in response to the newsletter item. I was told I had to write an article. We each had to write an article regarding somebody was going to put a newsletter together. I think that was the former manager, Agatha Muse. And I'm just following through with what I was supposed to do personally. That's all that is, just for information only. Okay, Madam Mayor?
She went to, I believe, run a copy of the agenda.
Oh, with all those numbers you just said?
Yes, sir. The
I didn't-
12.
I don't have that
12A
either.
Through
I wish
12G.
I wish I had that just to follow along.
Those are the items that I submitted at the very end of the evening.
Yeah.
Because these were items that had come up in a short period of time. And because we are trying to I was trying actually just to get as much as possible into this agenda because we're not sure when the next one will be. And I wanted to make sure at least the local gas tax was definitely put on there. I think
Well-
that the attorney also has, I believe, some items that he submitted maybe an hour ago or so. I don't know if he wants to bring those forth at this time.
Well, the one item that would be for consideration by the town commission would be the extension of the agreement with Keith and Associates as the town's consulting engineer. That agreement has expired on April 14th, and it would be an extension for a 1-year period if the commission wanted to do that. I don't know that there's any projects that they're going to work on between now and the next regular meeting. So if you want to wait till their next meeting and put it on the agenda at that time, it's up to you. The one agreement that we already have entered into them on Southwest 30th Avenue was already approved previously. So I think that's the only project that's in the works for them right now. So if you wanted to consider the extension tonight, it could be done. If you want to hear it at the next meeting, it can be done at that time also.
Chris, you're referring to the Southwest 30th Avenue septic tank system?
No, that agreement has already been approved. That was approved back, let me see.
No, that one isn't
Back in March.
approved. No, that one wasn't approved. That one was the one that the mayor stepped away, and when she came back, that item was not approved. And then at the last workshop, I put it on the workshop to discuss, and that's when you went ahead and gave your ruling on it.
Right.
And that still has to go before the commission for actual approval.
Okay, well, I have that agreement available. I mean, that resolution, if you would like me to read that this evening, and if the town wants to consider adopting that, that's the retaining Keith and Associates to do the plans for the sanitary sewer upgrades on Southwest 37th Avenue, and their proposal was for the sum of $57,000. That's
Right,
all in
it's resolution number 2020-031.
Yeah, if they could go forward with that this evening, if they'd like,
No. No.
up to them, of course.
All right, take the black phone.
A black,
You have the black phone. I
No.
don't have
a black phone there.
it. Okay.
A black
Okay.
phone
All right,
there.
good.
Madam Mayor?
Are you guys in, oh, well, you're the only one in the building that could probably get a copy of the,
Okay, Madam Mayor.
yes.
Okay, all these items were added and I don't see the backup. I mean, I thought we were supposed to put backup in. We're not going to vote. Are we voting on any of these items that are being added?
Well, the sign request is because you have businesses that are having some issues and they're actually going to be on the phone to ask the commission, because a lot of cities have done it in their emergency ordinances to allow them to put up temporary signage to say that they're open. Untoasted has already had to lay off 8 people because people don't know.
Couldn't hear you, Mayor.
Can't hear you, Madam Mayor.
She's
Okay.
talking and nobody can hear her.
Right.
Mark, you want to call her?
Have that. That's been every year for the past.
Oh, there she is.
What?
We didn't hear you.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so anyway, I have a problem with some of this stuff. Something that's an emergency that you have to do, I don't have a problem with that. But other things where we don't see the backup, I mean, we don't have any backup, and that the commission has taken a position where we don't do it if you're gonna vote on it, or we don't do it. We gotta have the backup.
Yeah, okay, so,
I mean, if it's an emergency, I can understand it. I think Marlon got my item crossed. I wasn't trying to say, I'm not doing any newsletter. I was just completing what I was asked to do for a newsletter that the manager was going to put together. But these other items, unless Jeffrey Jacobs wants to tell me what the agro eco, what you were thinking about, talking about, it's going to come up. If I could ask him.
well, the thing is, you have agro eco gardens on there, so he just wants to have additional discussion. He can have that discussion on that item when you bring it up under 11B3. The sign
Yeah,
variance,
but there's no backup. I have to give backup every time I want to do something. Unless he wants to. Jeff,
I'm talking. I'm not submitting any documents. I'm just talking.
Okay, can you tell me what that is, or?
When we get to that item, we'll discuss it. But there's no reason to be jumping out of order. Let's get this going, get it done, and get out of here tonight. I'm tired of these meetings lasting till midnight. We got things to do,
Absolutely.
And the longer we sit here and babble, the longer this is going to take.
Mhm.
So
Thank you.
all right, so that's,
stick with the agenda and get moving.
yeah, I mean, there's no need to have a second item on there for that because that's already on the
Oh,
agenda.
okay, but
Okay, the
again,
sign-
let's.
okay.
Yeah, move it forward.
Okay,
Let's
so
get
my
it going.
the sign request is because a lot of cities did it in their emergency ordinances, which was to allow the businesses to have signs up for those businesses that are open, so that people would know that they're open. So I've gotten calls from our restaurants in the city to ask for that. I didn't include it in our emergency plan, but now I'm asking, since we already adopted the emergency plan, so I don't have to just come out with another one, just to have the commission take a formal decision on it, to allow them to put up the little temporary sign saying that they are open, because they've been calling City Hall and not getting any response or feedback from staff at City Hall regarding putting up those temporary signs saying, we're open, take out, call ahead, which is all COVID-19 related. So I'm not sure what else we have.
I think that's the first time I'm hearing that.
What?
I mean, the town
Well,
hall's
they've been
been
calling and
closed.
speaking to staff. They haven't spoken to me. I got a call yesterday from Hungry Howie's. I got a call today from Untoasted.
Oh, okay.
That
So-
they've been calling City Hall. They're not getting an answer. They'd like to put out a
Well,
temporary sign saying, we're open, call ahead. Don't come and sit in my face and cough on me. Call ahead and I'll bring your food out to your car.
Mhm.
All the other cities have done it. We are one of the only ones that haven't. So it's to
Yeah.
help the businesses that are here.
Yeah,
Well, this is
that's
the
not a
first-
problem with that.
This is the first you're bringing this up too, so,
Well,
I
it
don't-
is, but if you read the other cities' ordinances, they were in the other cities' emergency ordinances.
oh, well,
So that's why I'm like, the calls just came in to me, but they've been calling City Hall. So you can find out from staff who they've been speaking to and who they've been leaving messages with, or you can ask them because they're going to be on the call
mhm.
regarding that. But that's just to allow them to have temporary signage saying, open, call ahead. We will bring your food to the car. Don't come in my establishment. Don't cough on me. Don't get me sick.
So what is it you
Exactly.
need? What do you need from us?
Well, we need to give staff direction that they can do that, to allow the businesses to have a temporary sign so that we're not hurting our
Temporary.
businesses. It's temporary. It's only
Yeah.
during this COVID. It's not
Yeah.
permanent signage. It's this temporary
It's
signage.
just temporary.
Temporary
Yeah, I don't
signage
have-
saying open.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm asking for in my add-on.
Okay.
Okay, and like for Chris's gas tax, we've been doing that gas tax for ever. I mean, you guys,
That item can be rolled over to next month if you want to leave it, because it doesn't need to be in till June 1st.
okay, so that's on my, but I mean, it's something that we do every year. It's just
Correct.
a renewal.
It's just-
That's why I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not understanding why it's controversial.
It's not controversial.
oh,
I think we're just asking.
Okay. Okay, so So let me ask. Okay, so we had, the items under 12. Which ones are you willing to add on to this agenda for discussion? Which ones are you not willing to add on to for discussion? You want me to read them back out?
Yes, read them out, would you
Yep.
please, Mayor?
Okay.
If-
So, 12A is Broward College. That's for them to possibly go on the 3rd floor. The 12B is the Food Forest article newsletter. 12C is the Comcast emergency temporary upgrade for $5,000 for 4 months. 12D is code enforcement application. 12E is the local gas option tax. 12F is the local gas option tax. 12G is the local gas option tax. And my my temporary signage request.
Mayor,
Yes.
Mayor, the attorney, while you were gone to run the copy of the agenda, brought up 2 additional items. One of them is to extend the contract for Keith and Associates that expired. And then the other one is for the Southwest 30th Avenue septic tank system. That was your item, and remember that he gave his opinion last
Yeah,
time.
he gave an oral. He was supposed to provide us with the written.
Right. I believe he's already submitted that to you as well. I do have the resolution already here, which is resolution 2020-31. And just so you know, the resolution having to do with the court enforcement member, the agenda is already on
It's under
consent.
8A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's under, correct. It's under 8A, but the resolution was the only thing that was missing, and I just uploaded the actual resolution. That was all.
Okay.
It's not an additional item, in other words.
Okay, because that's what I was like. I know I saw that. That's I'm like, what? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Does anyone have any objections to anything? Aiden, give me. Go in the room.
And we're doing the manager search one for me, right? If Yolanda doesn't bring that up, you said Yolanda's gonna be,
Yolanda had actually just called. I had just had a conversation with Yolanda right before, so she was gonna call to schedule the interviews.
oh, good.
So do you need that as a separate item? Just because she's gonna call you to schedule.
Well, I think it should still be brought up, so it's on record.
Okay.
So I think she should bring it up at this meeting. Or I'll still bring it up.
Okay, so what do we want from what don't we want? Let's go through that. So that way we can vote on the agenda, so that way we can start going through the agenda. Broward College, yes or no? They're having the conversation tonight. Howard, I can't hear you. Unmute your phone.
That's already been on the agenda under your name. I don't have any problems. I don't have a problem at all. It was just that now it's more organized when you went over a second time. I didn't have a list and I was here blank. But I feel better now. You went it over a second time and now I have it written down. So I don't have any problems with any.
Mhm.
But I would like to move on with the agenda if we could.
No, I would too. That's why I'm gonna go through it and ask. So nobody has a problem with the discussion for Broward College. Does anybody have a problem with?
And
the
I just
discussion
got
for
the
Food Forest?
backup on it. I'd like a little bit more time to look it over. But I don't have a
Okay.
problem with them taking the third floor because we do need to move forward on that. So,
Okay. Well, when we have the discussion, I'll give you what's going on
Okay.
with
All
that.
right.
So, I mean,
Good.
I just wanted to give you an update with the meeting. Food Forest,
Certainly.
does anyone have a problem with the Food Forest article? No, we can have the discussion on that. Comcast, well, y'all don't have a choice on Comcast because unfortunately we have to pay the bill, so you guys need to just approve it. Code enforcement, that's just the resolution. Local gas option tax, we do this every year. So do you guys have a problem with that?
no,
Okay. You have the extending the engineers contract, engineers, not plural, triple, quadruple. I'm assuming it's quadruple since it was a library. And then, we have the opinion in writing for 30th Avenue. Do we have that?
I think it was 31st, wasn't it?
30th.
Oh, 30th, okay.
Yes, Mayor, it's a brief memorandum just stating that, what I told you before is that under the CCNA, this project is permitted. And I attached the memorandum from Peter Cunin that discussed how the selection process was conducted.
Okay, I don't have the memorandum, so that's why I'm asking.
It was emailed probably about 5:30, so I apologize for being late, but I thought it had gone out of there.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask for that one, that we just wait on that one, because I don't have that one in writing. Okay, and, okay. Okay, all right, so everybody's fine with that, so we can entertain a motion to adopt the additions to the agenda?
I make the motion to adopt the extended town agenda.
Second.
Okay. Roll call?
Motion made by Vice Mayor Clark, seconded by Clerk Commissioner Jacobs. Commissioner Cohen. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Mark, can you unmute her?
I just want to make sure that we are going to have that discussion
Okay.
with the manager
Okay,
interviewing.
okay. Commissioner Cohen,
Yes,
Commissioner DeVille,
there's a lot of static.
Yes.
I'm going to mute
Yes.
mine.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, that was a lot. Number 6, are there any public comments, Marlon?
No, Mayor, we do not have any public comment at this time.
Okay, thank you. Number 7, building report. Everyone has a copy of the March building report. If anyone has any questions, they can ask Miguel. If not, we're gonna move it on. Nope, okay, perfect. Number 8, code enforcement application. You have an applicant, Tania Nichols Carey, who has applied for the position for the code enforcement board.
So what do you need? A motion to adopt?
If that's how you feel, but I'm gonna ask a silly question. I can figure out what page it is right now, so just give me 1 second to figure out what page. Because I apologize for my question, because I'm a little confused as to why why you have understanding that, I understand that he or she, I'm not sure. The person is a resident of the town, but they're also the manager of the property. And they are the ones that kind of oversee what's happening in the property. And so it's kind of like a little, kind of like a catch-22 to put the cat in charge of the hen house, so to speak, because of the fact that when I looked at Jeffrey's report, there were a ton of violations in that park. And that management would be the one that stopped the people from doing whatever
Okay.
they were doing to begin with.
Mayor,
Yes.
can I stop you? There's a lot of static. Can people
Yeah.
put their mute, put it on mute?
Please
while you're
mute our mic.
speaking?
Thank you. Yes, I'm going through it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Can y'all hear me now? Okay. So, like when I looked at Jeffrey's reports, I saw a lot of code violations for what's this thing? Lakeshore. I saw a lot of violations on Jeffrey's reports for the property, for the department. And I kind of felt like I'm having the chicken with the hen house kind of situation, or the cat with the hen house, or the fox with the hen house, however the saying goes. So, as the property manager, aren't you responsible for overseeing what you're allowing people to do from not doing? And if that's the case, how are you going to sit here and determine what the violations are going to be for your tenants? And then how does that work? Because I know that like if you get a violation, you end up, they don't allow you to pay the rent, so then they're able to take your house and like all kinds of weirdness. So I kind of feel a little way on putting the fox in charge of the hen house, so to speak, for putting this person on our code board when a lot of the codes are coming through, a lot of the violations are coming through from that property.
Mayor,
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
isn't that Green Acres? Isn't that the one we saw at the very beginning? It's Green Acres, I believe, not Lake Shore.
no, it's Lakeshore, I think.
It is Lake Shore? I
Yeah.
thought the
No,
first application was,
One is the manager at Green Acres.
Oh,
I'm not sure what the other one is. One is the manager at Green Acres.
There's only
And-
one.
Oh yeah, okay, then that's her.
that's right. It's Green Acres, Madam Mayor. It's not.
Yeah, it's Green
Lake
Acres.
Shore.
But here's the thing, Green Acres is Lakeshore
But
property.
it's the same
The
property. It's the
manager,
same
yeah.
management.
Yeah, same management for all this area. That's all my district. So, but yeah, I tend to agree with the mayor on this, that she oversees the internals of internal violations within the park, and then being on the code might be a conflict of interest.
and that would be a question for our attorney. Attorney Ryan?
Yes, we've had, excuse me, we've had persons in parks who were managers before, and I don't know that there's been a problem, but if there's a perceived problem when it comes to that park, you can always recuse yourself for that particular case, so that that would eliminate the problem on that case. I know that there's going to be a shortage of members for the code board. We have we had a vacancy, and then we had a resignation recently. So it might be helpful to have somebody, but it's up to the commission. The person can handle it on an issue by issue basis. If a violation came up from a property in her park, then she could go ahead and recuse herself from any discussion or input on that case.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, Howard.
Okay, Madam Mayor, again, I think, and someone's going to have to tell us for certain, I think Lake Shore Mobile Home Park is a different property than Green Acres. Even the owners are different. So somebody could tell us, this has nothing to do with Lake Shore Mobile Home Park.
Vice Mayor.
Yeah.
Green Acres is owned by Lakeshore Properties.
Yes.
Right,
Holiday Park Mobile Estates is owned by Lakeshore Properties.
yes, I know that.
They're
But
the
what I'm
only
saying-
two They're the only two in the town owned by Lakeshore Properties.
Yes.
Okay, but that's not my what I'm trying to say here is Lake Shore Mobile Home Park.
Is not owned by the same company.
Bingo. Well, the mayor, there we go. See the.
No,
question
but
in
the
mind?
thing is, it's Lakeshore Management. She works for Lakeshore Management. She's the
She
management
works
for
She's the
Lakeshore Management.
manager at Green Acres.
Well, okay, but you got Gina is a manager. I'm an owner, manager. I mean, you have people up here that've been here.
You also don't sit on the code board. You sit on the.
Oh, that's
commission.
right. You know what?
There's
You
a
got
difference.
good
There's
point.
a lot of
There's a difference.
violations
Yeah.
on Jeffrey's
Yeah.
report for Lakeshore.
I got your
A
point.
lot
I
of
understand
violations.
it. I
May
understand it.
May I, Mayor?
I see it. Thank you.
Can I speak? Mayor?
Go ahead, Gina.
No, I actually have a couple of applicants. But because of, yeah, I'd like to bring those forward, some really good applicants,
Okay, so
Okay,
let's do that.
you know, that are strong individuals who would really serve a good purpose on that board and are very knowledgeable. So, I have to, and, I'll submit those applications, on Friday.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
I'm clear now on that, Madam Mayor. I had overlooked that they're actually going to be sitting on the code board. So
Mhm.
I have to agree.
Okay. Okay, so we'll wait for Gina's applicants. Okay. So, with that being said, Chris, do you want us to call the roll on this one, or are we okay with just tabling it for new applicants?
I would go ahead and vote and vote no.
Okay.
If that's what, take the vote. I should say. I'm gonna tell you how to vote.
All right, so who's actually gonna make that motion? How about it die for a lack of emotion?
The motion could just be to reject the application, and then you can vote in the affirmative.
All I
Okay,
have is that.
so I make a motion that we object that applicant's application for the code board. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Motion made by Commissioner Cohen, seconded by, was it Vice Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Okay, second by Vice Mayor Clark. Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille? Commissioner DeVille?
Yes. Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes. Okay. Number 9, consent agenda. Does anybody want anything removed off of the consent agenda? Oh, wait, why is that on the consent agenda? All right, that's,
Yes, I have something, Madam Mayor.
okay.
I would like to remove, personnel manual.
Okay.
Item, is that,
You don't what?
is that 9E, personnel
90,
manual?
yes.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Anything else?
Nope, that's the only one I would like to have removed for now.
Okay.
So let me make a motion that we approve everything except for 9E.
Correct.
A second.
Okay. Roll call.
Roll
All right,
call.
voicemail,
Commissioner Owen.
motion made
Yes.
by Vice Mayor Clark, seconded by Commissioner DeVille. Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs,
I need a moment still. I'm reading. Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes. Okay, let's take up item 9E, personnel policy and procedures. Go ahead, Gina. What's your question? I can't hear you. Unmute your thing.
The problem that I'm having with that, is that I remember, I believe it was in 2017, that, and I think Emma was on board then, or it was when Bob Vitas was there. Or maybe she wasn't there when Bob Vitas was there. But I remember us going over that, manual, personal manual, and we never finished that. And I think we let off on page 17.
Mm-hmm.
So we never adopted that. And I just don't feel comfortable that we have these on here when we didn't adopt the manual. And we
This
have those
is to
on there.
adopt the manual with the changes that were made. We never finished it, and I kept asking everyone repeatedly to give their input to the clerks. Even 2 weeks ago, I asked if anyone had anything else they wanted to add, update, or change, and no one said anything.
But
Yeah,
don't
I
you-
have something to add.
May I finish?
Yes.
Okay, but don't you think that we should go through that whole manual? I mean, there's not a lot, and have the special meeting that we held in 2017 and go through that manual with, all commissioners and page by page to make sure that there's nothing missing and everybody has a understanding. And nothing is these are not being thrown out. I just would feel more comfortable that I think we should hold a special meeting and proceed from there.
I've been trying to get a special meeting, but nobody said they had anything else they wanted to add. I have more stuff I'd actually like to add.
Well,
But I
think
didn't
we
want to
should
kind of
have
sit
it.
there and go through page by page with you guys because it seemed like nobody else cared.
Well, everybody did care, Mayor. I have to disagree with you because in 2017, we just stopped and we were supposed to continue that meeting, but that meeting was never continued. So I would like to go over that because it's not like a big manual that we could take the time and go by it page by page. I think that it would be the correct way. So again, everybody knows and understands. And like myself, I'd like to see page by page. And that not only that we do have a discussion on all this. And then we vote and then we decide and then, we move on.
Okay, so here's the deal. I've been trying to get this pushed through for how long now?
Well, you haven't brought it up in a long time.
I
You,
keep asking for a meeting. Does anyone have anything? I've asked repeatedly. Does anyone have anything? Even 2 weeks ago when I brought this up, does anyone have anything they would like to add to this?
Okay,
2
but
weeks
we're
ago,
not,
we could have sat there and gone through
You're
day by
saying
page by
add.
page.
I'm sorry to correct you, but you're saying add. But we have the book. Let's take the book out. Let's bring the book. Everybody has their book. We bring it to a meeting like we did in 2017, and then we go through it. We paid a lot of money for this. Thousands of dollars. We paid Old El Wingo, what was it, 150, 180, and
80,000. It was
$180,000?
80,000 total for
Was it?
all of
Oh.
these manuals that have yet to be implemented. And that's my problem is that we've had these things sitting here and nobody's doing anything.
Well,
with them,
nobody
and
did
they're not
anything.
being implemented.
But nobody did anything. So that's my thing.
But we
And I think
started
that-
this and I keep asking, okay, so here's the deal. Everybody pull out your calendar. Let's do this. You need 2 days,
And-
Marlon?
And we were supposed to do it, but because things happen and then nobody talked about it for a long time. And we left off, I believe it was on page 17, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was page,
Or in the 20, early
19,
20s. Yeah, 17. I was close.
Yeah.
My memory's not too bad. Don't ever underestimate this, Commissioner.
Listen, like I said, I brought it up, I've said it repeatedly, and no one seems to have
Well, that's
anything
why
else.
I'm-
Jacobs has said he had a couple of things he would like to add, and he was the
Yeah,
only person
well,
that said
that's
he
why
had
I
anything
think we
to
should
add.
go and take it to a special meeting and go in there and do it page by page the correct way and not this throw this and throw that and vote this and everything scrambled. I don't like to work like that.
Well, it's not scrambled. She's a
Well, to me
professional.
it
She
is.
did this document for us in 18.
I know, but we
Like I said, I've asked repeatedly for comments. We need to have something on the books that's updated. We don't have anything. We actually voted on some of these things back in 2018 to do, and they
We
still haven't
never-
been implemented. No, we
we-
voted on individual items to be done, and they haven't been implemented. And that's why I'm trying to move forward, because we're still stuck
well,
in
I
the
think
past
this is
with nothing being done.
I think
Madam
it's the
Mayor.
wrong way to go. I think we should pull the book out, have a special
We
meeting.
can go through it
And-
right now.
No,
I'm
Well,
ready.
I'm not-
Are you ready?
No, I'm not ready because we're not
Let's-
prepared for this. This is
But
the
you had it
first
2
time.
weeks ago.
Okay,
No,
Madam
no, no.
Mayor, can I
This was
comment?
put up 2 weeks ago at the workshop. Everyone had a copy. Is there anything anyone
Okay.
wanted to change? No one said
Okay.
anything even 2 weeks ago at the workshop.
Okay, but after that, I gave me more time to think,
All right,
okay?
okay.
So
Ma-
now that I had all that time to think, I'm trying to bring to your attention the proper way to do this.
The
Yeah,
proper
Madam
way is that
Mayor.
if I sit here and schedule a meeting again, I'm gonna be waiting again for input.
Because we never adopted that book.
But
And
this is
that's
the
why the
process.
whole
We're trying
book.
to get something adopted and on the record. We don't
Madam
have it
Mayor,
on the record
No.
from
Well,
1990.
I
Madam
don't like-
Mayor,
I don't
Madam
like
Mayor.
flipping in pages.
okay,
I'm sorry.
Is everyone available Monday, 3 p.m.?
that's better.
Yeah, that's good. I am.
Marlon, can you please schedule a meeting Monday, 3 p.m., special workshop meeting to discuss page by page personnel policy manual?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not available, Madam Mayor.
No, see,
You're not,
we gotta
3
do
o'clock.
it
What time are you available, Ray? 6?
6 o'clock, right?
Well, if you make it a Thursday or Friday, I'll be available, but not Monday.
Thursday. Why don't we do it on Thursday? I'm free.
Marlon, you need 2 days?
Yes, ma'am. I need 2 days to advertise.
So that would put us,
How about next
April
Tuesday?
30th.
all right, so is that Tuesday?
Let's do it where it's convenient
No.
for everybody to attend.
Tuesday,
Mayor,
the
the
28th.
30th, April 30th is a Thursday.
Is April 28th available?
April 28th is a Tuesday.
Ray, are you available at 6 o'clock on Tuesday?
I'm available at 6 any day, just not 3 o'clock.
No, I can do it Monday at
Okay.
3 o'clock. We need to move forward. We really have to move forward. We have an entire book of manuals that have not been adopted. We're getting hit by JLAC and everybody else. We keep bringing people in and nobody's taking the initiative to move forward on this.
That's why we need to do this as a team and get through this and do it properly.
Tuesday at 6
But
o'clock.
this is not the first time that I've said this. I brought this up on the on the dais repeatedly. We need to move forward with the personnel
Well,
manual.
I haven't heard you say it repeatedly, and we never finished
my
it.
goodness.
We left
Okay.
off. I don't remember that. I'm sorry.
Timeout.
Jacob, have I not said this repeatedly?
All right, I think
Ray,
it's
have I
relevant
not
at
said
point.
this repeatedly?
But but I want to go through the whole book.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Monday at 3 p.m., we will, Monday at 6 p.m., we're gonna go
Yeah.
through this whole book and move it
Okay.
forward. We
Sounds
have
good.
policies that need to be moved forward and implemented.
That we paid a lot of money for, and we need to do
We
it right.
did, and that's the thing, and that's the management's job to start implementing these things, and all the managers have had this, and nobody's doing it.
Mhm. All right.
That's not
So
my
let's,
job, that's management's job.
we,
But I'm tired of this at this point. So Monday at 3 p.m., is there any other manuals?
Well, our
At 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Keep saying six, sorry. Are there any other manuals you'd like to go through from the red book that we can move forward on? Because the only one we have adopted is the purchasing manual.
okay. So let's move on to this at Monday.
Mayor, will
anyone
this
have
be
any
a
objection?
workshop or a voting meeting?
This will be a voting meeting. We are going to go through it and then we're going to adopt it.
Mhm. Marlon, that'll give you plenty of time.
Yes, Commissioner, it does.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Is this the place, Madam Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Personnel, this is the behavior of department head and managers and everybody that works for the town.
This is his 54-page or 50, depends on who you ask, because somebody did a rewrite. It's either 49 pages or 54-page manual that we had from, revising our 1997 personnel policy and procedure manual.
Everybody needs to pause.
This covers, what happens with, time clocks, work cancellation, sick and vacation pay, things like that. That's what this covers. So is there any other questions regarding the personnel policies and procedure manual?
That's it. Monday?
Monday.
Monday at 6
Monday.
o'clock.
Hold on. Give me one
Everybody have their red books.
So then I'm gonna ask, if we're doing the red book, are we also going to be doing, because this is not from Zeb, this was, you have several items in the red book.
Right, we're gonna do the red book. That was the one that.
Do
Bob
you want to
Reed
do the
together.
entire red book, which also includes the finance and accounting manual, the personnel policy manual, the personnel policy procedures, guidelines, and forms for management, and the records management manual?
Well, I think we should go through the whole book, but that's why we had the book, and we started it, and we left off at page, what'd you say, 1890?
Okay, but I'm saying, because we took a whole night to go through that. So do you want to cover the rest of the book in that one sitting on Monday?
Can we do each one on a different date?
I'm asking you guys, you give me the
I
direction.
prefer to do it that way so we're not overwhelmed with too much at one time.
Listen, we need to move forward. We have all of these things that we adopted. We actually adopted these schedules and we haven't followed them. We told the OIG we were gonna follow these schedules and we
Oh, we
haven't done
never
it.
went through the book.
With the schedules we adopted and we sent that into the OIG in their response letter. Remember, there's 2 books. So then you
One
want
at
to
a
do that
time.
one for Monday, and then when do you want to do the next one?
And we'll do it the following Monday.
You want to do every Monday at 6 p.m. or do you want to, because it's 1, 2, you have four manuals that need to be adopted. But do you want to take a
All right,
month
so
to
we
do it,
should
or
do
do
it
you want to
until-
take 2 weeks to do it?
I think we should take the 2 weeks to do it and do it right.
Okay, so then you want to schedule one for Monday, and when do you want to schedule the next one?
We'll do it the following Monday after that. We'll do it on Mondays.
So you want to take a month to adopt all 4 manuals?
Well, whatever it takes, we can't do it all in one night. You know, you
No,
can't
but
be up
do you
until
want to
6
do
in the
Monday
morning.
and Wednesday, Monday and Thursday?
Monday and Thursday would work.
Why don't we set the date after Monday? So we'll see
Yeah, let's see.
where we
Right.
are.
I agree. Let's see where we're at and how much time, and then we can plan on it after that.
Okay. So Monday at 6
Ray
p.m.
and Commissioner Jacobs didn't sit through that. They weren't
Yes, I
there.
did. They were there.
Through the red
I
book?
sat through.
They were there.
Were
I
they?
sat
Oh, I
through
thought
the
you weren't
entire
there.
long
there.
meeting as we discussed that, and then it ended up being hours that we were going over that manual.
Okay,
and
I
we
didn't
stopped
remember if
speaking.
you were there. Okay.
Yeah,
They
we
both were
stopped
there.
the meeting
Okay.
because it was going so long and it's been asked to be brought up over and over again, but it hasn't. And it's been, that was like maybe May or so last year. Was it May or June? We
It was-
had a meeting for that.
Yeah,
It was about a year ago.
yes. Oh, I didn't know you guys sat in on that. Okay.
They sat in on it. The only people that
Okay.
had comments were me and Jacobs, for the most part.
Well,
We were
I
the
had
only
a
one that
couple of comments too, and so did Howard. But
that was,
anyway.
we were going item by item by item through that whole
Right.
manual.
But
You know,
that's
that was
what
a,
you're,
that was a special meeting that just lasted again for hours, and we had to
I
stop
know.
it, to come back and finish, but it never came back.
No,
So-
but then I kept repeating, anyone had any additional comments, send it to Natasha. Anyone had any additional comments, send it to Natasha. If there's any adds, subtractions, whatever, send it to Natasha. Gave deadlines for it. No one followed up.
So let's do it starting Monday, and then we'll get it out of the
So
way.
that's why I'm like, okay, at this
Okay.
point, we need something on the books. We don't have
Listen.
anything.
okay,
Listen,
so
we
let's
haven't
start
had,
Monday.
Oh.
we haven't discussed this manual since that date. That was the last time this manual
Right.
was discussed. The mayor's brought it up during meetings that we needed to proceed, I believe. I've heard it mentioned, but that's it. Just
But
during our-
nobody did anything.
No,
It
it's
didn't move.
one, but here's the thing. There's a lot of stuff that needs done that we got to push forward, and there's four manuals that need done.
That's left to be done.
Yeah, that's left to be done. So we got to get through those and get those done. You know,
I agree.
was-
Let's do it.
for me, was getting the job descriptions, the pay independent pay study, and getting HR in here. We got those. So now we got those in place. Now we need to continue back and get these manuals done.
Okay, so it's set. We start Monday.
Yes,
15.
thank you.
Let's go to the next item.
Okay. Personnel restructuring, because that was under 9E. Everything was kind of lumped together under 9E. The telephone and email protocol was not under the personnel policies manual. That was in a letter that I drafted, a memo that I drafted that was distributed to everyone to say that people needed to call back within 3 days of receiving a voicemail or text message or whatever, because of the fact that for some reason, as commissioners, we're still not getting answers, and neither is the public. And so I would like a separate motion to adopt the telephone and email protocol, which is that people need to answer people. When you call, this is a business, you're expected to return people's calls.
I don't understand. I'm a little confused on this, Mayor, so, if you can, just, why wouldn't nobody be doing their jobs then,
Okay, go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Jacob.
make up?
I have sent out multiple emails to the town manager, to Todd, to other people around town, and never get responded to. I get response. Occasionally, I'll get a response 4 days later. We get people that call the town. I get complaints because people call the town and they can't reach anyone, or phone calls don't get returned by staff. There's people whose mailboxes are so full you can't leave a message. You know, that's ridiculous for a town to be functioning that way.
I agree.
Everyone gets an email, they need to respond to it within a timely manner. You know,
Mhm.
someone gets a phone call, you need to return the phone call. You need to acknowledge that you got an email, even if it's to acknowledge that you got the email, because no one around here does that. I mean, I wrote a very urgent email and I got a response to it 4 days later, and it was something that needed dealt with immediately. And it was followed by a phone call and all sorts of other stuff, but that's a whole nother story. So, but things don't happen around here like they're supposed to. People need to respond and be held accountable for responding to their emails and phone calls. So that's my feeling on it.
All right, so you guys had a copy of this in your email. Staff actually, I sent this out last year. Stephanie put it on letterhead. Stephanie sent it out and had all the staff members sign it. That basically said that We're a business. I'm going to read it to you just so that there's no misunderstanding or confusion.
Do that, please.
To all staff, please be advised that after receiving numerous complaints from the public as well as other staff members, this memo is being circulated to all staff members and to go into effect immediately. Maintaining high standards in business communications is a sign of professionalism. Poorly structured and untimely responses, whether via email, postal mail, or voicemail, make people feel underappreciated and undervalued and makes us look unprofessional. We are professionals and represent a government agency and need to conduct ourselves accordingly. Telephone protocol, please answer the phone by the third ring. When communicating with the public, always be courteous. Use respectful and considerate words and phrases such as, I'm sorry, thank you, please, may I take a message? Would you like to leave your number? May I put you on hold? I'm sorry to keep you waiting. He's away from his desk. May I have him return your call? Don't use words and phrases such as, huh? Yeah, I don't know where he is. She's at lunch. Call back later. He's not here. I don't know where he is or when he'll be back. Voicemail. Please return calls within 48 hours. In the event that the voice message comes in on a Friday, please respond by the end of business on Monday. If someone is on vacation, please set an auto response to respond, advising that said person is out of the office for the duration of time. And if this item needs responding to before then, who they should contact. If a response requires time to investigate, please acknowledge the message by returning the call and informing the person that it will take time to complete the request and give an estimate of how long it will take to complete the task. Please keep voicemail boxes free to receive additional messages. Under no circumstances should mailboxes be full and unable to accept a message. This is very unprofessional for a business. Email protocol. Please open and respond to all emails within 48 hours is good etiquette. In the event that the email comes in on a Friday, please respond by the end of business on Monday. If someone is on vacation, please set an auto response to respond, advising that said person is out of the office for the duration of time. And if this item needs responding to before then, who they should contact. If a response requires time again to investigate, please respond via email, letting them know that you're going to take time to respond and how long it's going to take. Please use a subject line using an appropriate heading in the email subject line. A heading that is specific for the customer's concerns lets him know that you crafted an individual response rather than sending along a form letter. For example, the heading, response time issues work better than your recent concerns. When sending email, both internal and external from a copy machine, always include a relevant subject line. Do not send it where it just says MFP 118-39410, which is the name on the printer downstairs. That is not a relevant subject line. Email or letter content, open the letter and email with an expression of thanks, such as thank you for your recent correspondence regarding. This lets the sender know you read his email or note and sets the stage for a reasoned response. It also conveys gratitude that the sender took the time to write us. Next, get straight to the point, addressing the sender's concerns directly and succinctly. Please provide an explanation as to why the sender encountered a problem and or what steps are necessary to complete his request and time frame to complete request. Close the letter by thanking the sender for his input and providing a phone number or email to which he can forward further concerns or follow-up regards to his request. Those failing to comply will be disciplined. Failure to repeatedly comply will result in termination.
Okay, let me ask you, when was that dated?
April 18, 2019.
Well, you should have did that a long time ago, because I had a lot of complaints myself that our former clerk wasn't, answering her phone. And so this has been going on. This has been an ongoing thing. So
this has been numerous, and I've sent this out and people have signed it, but yet they're still not responding. So that's why now I want to take a formal vote so that this is the town policy, because I'm sick and tired of us getting the complaints that people are not addressing their concerns. People are being ignored. Residents and commissioners alike are being ignored.
Okay. Can I ask you, you're saying that you're getting complaints. Well, how come I'm not getting those emails of those complaints that you're getting?
You want them? Oh, listen, I
Yeah,
don't
of
give your
course I
phone
do.
number out to
I mean,
everybody because I'm sick
We're
of
a
you calling me.
commission form of government, okay? And everybody should be seeing what's going on. And if we have complaints from our residents, this commission should all know where those complaints are coming from. Because I sure want to know.
Gina, I get people stopping me on the street complaining.
Yeah,
So
I
would you
do
like to
too.
follow with me 24/7? Because I
No,
mean,
no,
how do you
I
want me
just-
to address it?
Now, I want you to address it. If you get a letter or an email from a resident, I think we should all be copied. This whole commission.
Okay, well, that can be
It's,
done.
we're not a strong mayor. We're a commission form of government.
But that has
know?
nothing to do with strong mayor. It's just that I'm out in
I'm
the
just
streets,
saying,
people
if
stop
you're
me.
getting this and we're not getting it, then there's something, and we all should be on the same page. Don't forget, I wasn't getting my emails for the longest time. I wasn't even getting mail. And now I'm hearing that the mail that's coming in, that somebody's telling a certain person that, hey, you go through the mail. Well, that's not a good thing. You don't go through my mail.
Well, the mail has to be logged because it is public record.
Okay.
Okay,
But
so
they're not
that's
to
why they
open.
log.
Not to open the mail.
Well, I've given direction to open my mail because a lot of stuff that comes directed to me really should be going to Todd. Most of the stuff that comes into me is usually stuff for the Public Works Department. And so those things should be going to Todd and not to me. So that's why I tell them, look, take my mail, but you're literally, in most corporations, they actually take the letters and they scan it because of the fact that it is a public record. Once something comes to us, it's a public record. So we need to have a copy of it on file in archives.
Well, let me tell you, but I don't like people opening up my mail. Okay.
So then
And
do
if
you
I
want to
have
sit here and
something,
have them scan with you?
and if I have somebody that complains, I would share it and I would hand it over to the clerk because I know that is public record.
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Jacob.
I'm done.
I can't
Can't
hear
hear
you.
you.
This is kind of a separate issue with mail versus email and phone calls.
Right.
So can we bring that, Gina, can we bring this up at another time?
Yes, yes,
And,
yes.
and as another item,
Yes,
at another
I
meeting, and then
apologize.
move this,
Okay,
moving this
yeah.
along?
All right, let's
Thanks,
move it along.
thanks. Because
You're
it is,
welcome.
mail is a separate issue, so.
No, you're right. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Chris, can I get a motion to adopt this as the telephone and email protocols? Howard, unmute.
Yeah, I'll make that motion, Madam Mayor.
Unmute.
I just got one thing to say about this.
Mhm.
Any complaints that come in, should actually be like sent to HR if they're complaints about employees, for discipline and training purposes. So if any of the commission are getting those complaints, I think we need to be sending those along.
The majority of the times I bring the folks to the commission meetings, but a lot of times people are scared because they don't want to be retaliated against.
I'm just saying, if complaints happen in the park, you guys get an email about it. You guys get an email around town. I just think if it's about staff, it should be forwarded along.
It should
All I'm
be
saying.
forward and we should be aware of those things.
And the manager should be included,
Yes. And most definitely the clerk.
definitely.
It's public record.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Motion by Vice Mayor Clark, seconded by Commissioner Cohen. Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille,
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille. Clerk Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes. Time sheet. We've had this discussion repeatedly that everyone should clock in. So I'll entertain a motion that everyone clocks in.
I make a motion that everyone that's an employee of the town or otherwise deemed as the commission's necessary clocks in and clocks out
May I? Okay.
daily, clocks in and clocks out daily.
Can I get a second so Gina can have discussion?
Well, I have a discussion, yeah.
I
I
say,
need a second.
Second,
Okay, discussion.
Okay, and not only that, when they clock in and out, which is very important, and that they do not, if they take off and they're sick and not to use, I mean, they use their sick time and they don't say that they're working remotely when they're essential workers. You know, they should not do that. Okay.
Any other discussion? No, roll call.
Mayor, the vice mayor made, a complete motion and I couldn't hear it.
Okay,
Is
put it
it
on.
different from just, because he said time sheets, everyone clock in and out, but I couldn't hear something else he mentioned.
Clock in and out daily.
Okay,
He
You
said
hear what I
employees
said?
and those other folks.
sorry?
He said employees and those other folks.
Yeah, if necessary, if the commission wants somebody to clock in and clock out, they should do what the commission says. I know we had a problem in the past about the manager. He never wanted to clock in, he never wanted to clock out. So, I mean, it goes way back and we need to have it where they at least clock in and clock out.
I think we're
Employees
still
and-
having that
and-
problem.
Yeah,
Mayor,
Yes,
I believe Jolanda wants to speak.
okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to say that we are, this already, we have implemented this and I'm monitoring the time clocks every week. And I'm sending, to Mr. Daughtry every week. He's CC'd on every email that I send to each department head of anybody that misses a punch, anybody that, has overtime from the week before, and anybody that is approaching overtime for that week. So we're making sure that they're punching in and out 4 times a day, punching in and out every day, and then making sure there are no missed punches and no overtime, and we're controlling the punches pretty well, I think. And again, Mr. Doctor is copied on a email that I sent to department heads. So we're keeping a tight ship on it. I just wanted to say that.
Okay, go ahead, Howard.
okay, Madam Mayor and Commissioner Cohen, as you know, we had a problem with the manager from past administration. So does this include also the managers?
That's a
Yeah.
good question. Yes, every employee is clocking in and out right now. all
Can't
the-
hear, coming in jumbled.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Everyone else has to put their phone on, they need to put themselves on mute, otherwise you won't be able to hear her.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I just wanted to say that you're absolutely right, Commissioner Clark. Everybody, from the assistant manager, Mr. Daughtry, all the way to the employees, it doesn't matter if they're salary, if they're management, it doesn't matter. Everybody is clocking in and out every day.
So this is to help alleviate the problems that we had with 2 previous managers, as well as the fact that even though we said this and adopted this in 2018, for some reason, we gave direction. And so therefore, people have been taking it subjectively. So therefore, I'm asking for the formal vote so that we can stop this, because I really feel uncomfortable with having to sign a letter to JLAC that says that our personnel policies and procedures are not in place as far as payroll oversight, because we've had management changes when we've given the direction on the dais before. So therefore, I'm doing what you do, Howard, making a motion for everything. So, roll call.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Clark, seconded by Clerk Commissioner Jacobs. Commissioner Cohen?
Can't hear.
Yes, but I want to make sure that everybody, it's everybody, and the important thing is when they're leaving the building, they need to punch out, come back in. We need to know where their whereabouts are too. And I think that's very important because some people are leaving and don't tell you where they're going, if they're going to Walmart or here or there. And I think it's important because we, the town, are responsible for those employees that are missing in action. You know, it's a liability. for our
No,
town.
that it is.
Commissioner DeVille,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark. Vice Mayor Clark,
That, yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, transferring of personnel, we've had this discussion. We've had a long-standing history of when somebody's problematic and they're not doing their job, we've transferred them to other departments so that they could be a pain in somebody else's side. And I'm tired of it. And so if you're having issues with people, they don't need to stay employed to go stress another department out. They need to be disciplined and terminated. And we've done it for far too long and I'm sick and tired of it. So I would like to have a policy in place that says that we will not be transferring problematic personnel so that they can become other people's problems. If they're not working out, they don't need to stay employed with the town, and that's just it. We're paying people to come in here and do a job. We're responsible for these taxpayers' money. And we're not being responsible if we sit here and transfer people around from one department to the next so that they could be somebody else's problem. That the town has a policy of transferring problematic people, but dealing with the discipline that needs to happen so that we can move forward and getting people in here who actually want to do their piece. Ray, what do you want to say? Because I see your hand up.
And people
can't
put
hear
on
you.
mute so we don't have all that static.
Is that for all staff or just problematic staff?
No, that's for transferring of problematic staff.
Okay.
If you've been receiving, if you just got off of getting a write-up for something, don't transfer the person. We keep doing that. If you're doing transfers because people are excelling, that's a different story. Those are promotions, but transferring people from one
Okay, that was
department
my
to the next when they're problematic, that makes no sense.
So wouldn't that, Mayor?
Yes. Mhm.
So that would be the manager that oversees that, and or the manager, right?
That's a combination, management, HR,
And
department heads.
department heads, right? But
Okay, so
what about,
I guess you
but
guys
what
are
if
fine
we-
with, no?
what if we're promoting somebody and you want to, okay, move them into this department because maybe this person that's been there, like I'll use Michelle for an example, okay? All right, her department, okay? And she leaves and you got to have somebody there for, to train somebody and move somebody over there. I mean, I'm a little confused on what I understand what you're
Transferring
saying.
of problematic people, not transferring of people who are actually doing their job or are excelling and being promoted. Transferring of problematic people. If you've been written up and you've been written up, and-
Okay.
yes, and we transfer them to another department. You remember how somebody stopped doing minutes and then they got transferred to the building department, then they got transferred to the finance department, then they got transferred to the front desk before we finally let them go?
Well,
We've done
yeah,
that
but-
repeatedly. We transferred how many people from finance department to the front desk before we finally let them go?
Mhm.
We transfer people around from one department to the next instead of letting them go. If they're not working out, they're not a fit for the town, they need to go. Why are we paying people that just move around from one department to the next until somebody has the kahunas to say, okay, you're not working out, bye?
Well, and people that, I don't want to say too much more. I'll just,
Yolanda, you have something you want to add?
No, I was going to clarify exactly what you said, that I'm in 100% agreement that we really shouldn't transfer employees that are not working out in a certain area. If we're going to transfer an employee, it's because they are a wonderful employee in that area and they want to go to another area, maybe because they have a greater interest in that area, and we should reward those employees that are hardworking. Because I think you said it best, that it does transfer like one headache to another.
Right.
So in the OL Wingo handbook that I'm currently updating and working on, I'm actually trying to put very specific language on there. And I'm gonna present to you guys like a time frame of when transfers can occur, and that the evaluation part, as far as HR is concerned, we would look at their performance evaluation and we would look at their discipline history. So if they have had discipline or poor performance evaluation within the last, I would say anywhere from 6 months to 1 year, most companies do 1 year, they're not going to be eligible for a transfer. Review that on Monday when we go through the handbook, but that specific language, I would definitely like to see that in there.
Okay, are there any other questions regarding that? Where did Howard disappear to?
Not sure.
Okay. So do you want to address this better in the personnel manual? Gina, I can't hear you. Yes, okay.
yes.
Howard? Okay. Is everybody in agreement with addressing this in the personnel manual? Okay. Listen, I'm just tired of having to have the same conversation over and over.
We are too. As long as we get it in the manual, then it's in writing and everyone's got to abide by it.
Here, let me make it simple for you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion that we add this to the personnel manual.
Yes.
Oh, no, it's in there. It's in there. It was on page, because I actually changed up some of the language on what was in the personnel manual too.
Was it 17?
It's in there.
Okay.
But I mean, it's just that for some reason, when we say things, it doesn't get abided to. It's on page 12. A transfer is an assignment to a position with comparable duties, responsibilities, authority, and compensation. And I added, provided that the employee has not received any disciplinary action within.
Within so many, how many months? You got to give a.
I left that. I just put it, provided that the employee has not received any disciplinary action within.
We ought to put a timeline, like 18 months, 24 months, whatever the commission decides, or Yolanda thinks is appropriate in the industry.
Yeah, so.
We'll decide that on Monday.
Well, yes, we'll decide that on Monday. Okay. Personnel restructuring. So this we've had, this is twofold. We've had the discussion on moving the Parks Department from under the Roads and Street / Road Street Sewers manager, and putting that department directly under Miriam, since she was the green, what is that thing class that she, Master Gardener. So we've had that discussion because we've had too many issues and complaints, and they're not the same. We've always had the Parks Department under Tom Wild when he was the assistant manager. And that we need to move that back around because of the fact that it's just too problematic. The environment's just too toxic to try to continue to have it. So that's the first part of that. Then the second part of that is we need to restructure our staffing because currently with this COVID-19 and the businesses and what's going on with what we have with the businesses not being able to operate, our tax money for next year is going to go down by approximately 24%. So we're actually going to have a $2.1 million shortfall next year for our annual budget. And a lot of cities have been laying off and furloughing folks. We have a lot of positions that currently we don't have anything for them to do. And so I've had the conversation. I've had the conversation with Noel, with the assistant city manager, and I've had the conversation with Yolanda, the HR director. And we need to restructure a lot of departments because of the fact that we don't have $2.1 million in the bank to cover the budget for next year. And we're paying people to sit at home and not do anything. And we know that this isn't going to stop for a long time. So we need to eliminate some of the positions and consolidate. So no one has any comment? I see Gina's mouth moving, but I can't hear her.
I says, who do you have that you want to eliminate? I know you had asked the town manager to put a list together, and then I think he said at the staff meeting that he has staff to put their list together.
Mm-hmm. So we currently have a list together from HR that we will distribute to you, that we will have a further up conversation with. I'd rather you guys have a copy of the list first.
Right. I was just going to say,
so we can have that discussion on Monday.
Yeah, that would be the proper thing to do. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay. The extension of probation, had that discussion as well. And we actually put it in the manual that all new hires would be subject to a 1-year probation, and then all transferees would be subject to a 6-month probation. So, for some reason, we've had that conversation twice already, but for some reason, it's just not being followed. So hopefully this will be adopted on Monday. If not, I will be bringing it back to have it as a separate section.
Somebody is tapping or breaking something, and you could hear it clearly on the mic. Please mute yourselves. Thank you.
So does anyone have any questions or any comments or anything on that? No? Okay.
No,
So then
okay.
Huh?
I just unmuted myself. I said, no,
Okay.
I'm going to
Okay.
mute myself.
Okay. So then we are finished with 9E.
No, you're not.
So 10 ordinances, emergency ordinance. So extending the emergency powers. I sent you guys basically collage of of all the other cities' ordinances as far as it relates to emergency powers. I started drafting one, but then I stopped because it was, there's a whole heap of work. Chris, I know I tasked you with doing this. I'm just not sure where you are on it, or if you needed direction or what.
Yeah, I would need some direction, but I can put together a draft and get a general idea. The current one we have is outdated. That was back in the 60s, and pick up something that's a little more current. If you prefer me to prepare a draft, or if you all want to just give me input, you give me the direction how you want to go forward.
You can prepare a draft. What I will do is tomorrow I will find where I highlighted the sections that I think we definitely need to include. It's just that I'm a MacBook, and so it was a little tedious of having to retype everything in. So that's why I stopped.
Okay.
Because it wasn't transferring well into Pages.
Right, because it's quite voluminous, the information you sent. So
Yes.
I'll try to make a headline, an outline, and list some powers. And if that falls in your line of what you're thinking, then we can go ahead and fill in all the particulars.
Okay. Okay. Does anyone have any questions or input on that? Okay. All right, 11A, annual service contract review. Vice Mayor Clark.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I thought while we were going through all this and we are addressing and just looking at everybody, and everybody should be at least evaluated once a year, so we don't fall into what we have done in the past where we just roll these contracts over. So I would like to make a motion that all contracts and all personnel entities that are involved, all contract entities, personnel, people will have a minimum of once a year performance evaluation. That's where I'm headed. Now, I don't know how the attorney wants to do it, how he wants to make it clear, if we need to make it clear, but we need to at least look at everybody once a year, and hopefully everybody's doing great. And we just keep moving on, but we won't go back into where we were or what we have done. People there forever. And so that's what I'm asking for. So I'm going to make a motion, unless the attorney wants to pipe in and tell me what direction.
No, you're going the right direction, but it's more of a management obligation than it is than the legal obligation to review those contracts. I mean, because that would be appropriate for somebody in-house to make a schedule of the contracts and then put the dates for renewals that they can present to the commission.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion that the manager is responsible to prepare, or his or her designee is responsible to prepare a list of all the contracts, and at least once a year we will review them, or talk to them. They'll come up in front of the commission as an item, and that's when we could say how we feel about the situation at the time. And so that's what my motion is. Is that okay, Chris, that motion?
Yes, that's good, Vice Mayor.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I need a second.
I was muted. I'm sorry. Is there a second? If not, I'll pass the gavel. Okay. Roll call.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Clark, seconded by Commissioner DeVille. Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille?
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes. 11B is,
Okay, so,
yeah, 'cause I'm not
Madam Mayor,
doing this
Madam
title.
Mayor.
Okay, yes, lobbyist report and
so
annexation.
I was told by the clerk that all I have to do is say we're gonna bring up number 3. 1 and 2 are still the same. We don't need to talk about that. So number 3 of 11B, we can discuss that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put this out there. If there's nothing to discuss on 11B 1 and 2, it doesn't need to come over to the agenda.
Well, that's what I said, but that it was put on there, and I mentioned that today to the clerk, and we have to get that right. There's nothing to discuss there. That was just a carryover of the item. So on agro-eco, what we want to discuss there is I just wanted to inform the commission that we're going to start talking with Urban Health Partnership and Arlie, and she has some ideas. If you read the backup, she has some ideas. She wants to work with us and the whole organization regarding mitigating or eliminating the food desert, helping us to do that, to achieve that goal. So I just wanted to inform, and so we're going to have to join Facebook, and that would be joined by Joy, Marlon, and myself. And we have an email, which is foodforest@the-town-of-Pembroke-Park. And hopefully we can get a lot of good information that then can be brought back to share with this commission.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that.
Okay.
Vice Mayor, I think you meant Miriam.
Yeah, Miriam. Well, you could join too. It's okay. You're more
You're
than
being
welcome.
voluntold, you're working on the garden.
You're a volunteer. You can help us, and very good.
Just
So
wanted to make sure, just wanted to clarify that one.
okay.
No, but I think you've been,
Well, Miriam, Marlon, Joy, whoever can help, I think we can get a lot out of this. And so I just wanted to tell the commission that.
okay, the finger, Jacobs.
Okay, I got some discussion on the garden here. Howard, do you know how much money we're spending a year on this agro-eco garden? Now, understand, I like the garden. I think it's great. A community garden is something we need. The food desert, I get all that. But do you know how much money we're spending on this a year?
Well, right now we'd have to talk to Harry, find out exactly. However, a lot of the money over the last several years has been because of development, because we're building it. We didn't have anything there. So as far as operation, how much it's costing for operation, we'd have to get that price from Harry. Is Harry online? I don't think it's that much. I don't think it's that much. The biggest expense is because we're developing it. It's not existing where all we do is maintain.
Somebody mute your mic, because I can't hear. Okay, that doesn't mean
Harry, are
everybody
you-
needed to unmute.
I'm here. Yes, I'm here, Commissioner. I don't have the exact figures in front of me. What I do know offhand is I do know that we have an annual budget of $5,000 allocated specifically for the community garden. And we definitely have not exceeded that amount. I would say we're somewhere around $2,000 to $2,500 of, we've used somewhere between $2,000 and $2,500 so far of that $5,000 allocated budget. Now that's strictly for product associations for the community garden.
That's
Okay.
strictly for what?
Now, here's what else I want to go to, the expense of the garden. Mr. Daltrey stated that you take 3 hours of his day every day for the discussion on the garden, which if you take Newell's pay and you divide it out, that's about $54,000 a year of his time that's being spent with you and on the garden. And then you also have Todd and you have Miriam, and that's about $40,000 for each of them. So just hold on, hear me out. So just on those three, which they're saying you're taking all their time, and they're complaining they can't do their job because they're spending time dealing with the garden. And here's where I'm going with this. That's $134,000 a year just on those three staff. Then we have all the parks, they're the guys working in the garden, all the other staff that are being involved in the garden. And again, Vice Mayor, I'm for the garden, but a community garden needs to be by the community. The community
Yeah.
needs more involved in
Yeah.
it, and it shouldn't be involving any of our staff in with this project. So when I came to you and said, hey, you should probably create a Facebook page to get your info out,
Yeah.
that was a project for you to do, not the
Mhm.
staff to do. And that's the first thing you tried to do was hand it off to Miriam. And I told you, look, this is a project for you. You run the Facebook page, you put it together. Like, I'm working on the police department project. That's all on me. Now, very rarely I do go to other staff to try to get info and stuff that I need while I was putting this whole thing together. But I'm working on that project. My time's dedicated to it. And I'm not questioning your dedication to the garden, because
Yeah.
all of us commissioners know all your time's in the garden. Every time I go by, you're either in the garden or town hall, one or the other. You're always there. And I get that. And that passion's great for it. But if you look, we're using, 150 grand of staff time a year for the garden, and they all have other responsibilities. And here's my point. Your garden is taking so much time from staff that you could almost have a full-time assistant that's a gardener or
Okay.
what do they call it? Hold on. Wait, I'm not done.
Yeah.
On trees, arborist. You could have a garden or arborist as an assistant. That's your assistant. That would cost us a fraction of what we're spending, and someone's time that's dedicated to you in the garden. Because
Okay.
time is being
Yeah.
taken from so much staff that all I keep hearing from them is that they can't get anything done because they're in a meeting with you. They got a meeting with you. Every time I've tried to get with the manager on a meeting, or the interim manager, he's always got something going on with you. I've waited to have a meeting with him while you were in a meeting with him, and so his complaint to me was 3 hours of his day is dedicated to you every day. So,
No.
and I'm just looking at the time, but this is what I'm getting from staff. Understand, this is what I'm getting from staff. All right. This is what they're telling me. So, you may need to consider bringing up an arborist or a gardener as your assistant,
Yeah.
and maybe making a position for that if to save the town money, because we're spending a lot of money on this of staff who really shouldn't be as involved as which they are in it. So
Okay,
go ahead.
Jeffrey, I appreciate your comment. I really do. And I have been so mindful of that, and that's untrue. Now, Daughtry, let's put him on, and if he gives me 3 hours of his time a day, that's not true. Not true. So let's get him on, Madam Mayor, and let him say that on the record. I think what he was saying, he had a percentage that we should not put no more than so much time in that per week. But let him explain it. But I am so mindful of that, Jeff, because I agree. I'm not going to take their time like that. So, Mr. Daughtry, may I, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Daughtry?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no way. Do I take 3 hours of your day to talk about garden only?
No, sir.
Okay. So what is your equation?
Wait, I didn't
Okay.
say specifically garden for that. You take 3 hours of his day every day. The majority of it is spent on garden stuff, and it's the same things
No.
over and over again.
No, that's not true. I don't spend a lot of time with him on the garden stuff. I try to talk to him when I can.
Right.
Okay, and I schedule it. He'll have a calendar. I like scheduling things, so he should have that. He needs to keep it. And I am not going to take any more time, Commissioner Jacobs. I understand that, and I respect and appreciate that. We're not going to take any more time than what's necessary. and it's going to be a minimum. So, Mr. Daughtry, can you affirm that, disagree with that?
I affirm that, sir. Most of the time that you and I spend together has to do with the sewer and drainage issues.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
very small portion of that time is dealing with the garden. Very
Okay, so Mr. Assistant Manager, did you
Yes,
not
sir.
complain to me that Howard takes about 3 hours of your day every single day
No way.
going over the same things over and over again?
No.
No, sir.
So
I
you're
did
calling
say-
me a liar? Is that what
I
you're
did
doing?
say, sir, that specifically when we were talking about the drainage issues, when we were talking about the sewage issue, when we were
Yeah.
talking about the legal issues, those took quite a bit of time. But I don't really have any complaints, sir.
And it's not every day.
It's not every day.
Not at all.
I do recall you quoting, and I will quote, the vice mayor takes 3 hours every day of your time. That is an exact quote. Anything other than that is you calling me a liar, and that's not going to be tolerated because you actually did do that. And that's why I considered looking into this of how much time is being spent, because we are wasting a lot of staff time
Yeah.
and a lot of staff money on things that don't need done. We got other priorities, other problems in this town that need addressed.
Commissioner
Garden
Jacobs.
is on the absolute bottom of the list of things that need taken care of. We got a fire department. We got a police department. We need to get management in town, management that actually works, management that can steer the ship in a crisis, people who can actually do their job, people who come to work every day and can do the simple functions like clock in and clock out at the beginning and end of your shift. People who are there to work, not come in and complain every day, not whine, not spread rumors, not just go around causing trouble. We need people that come in, have a job to do their job, leave and go home. That's what we need. And that's what we don't have. And time is being wasted. Miriam spends more time on that garden than anything else.
No.
She really does. And any other commissioner agree with me or not? Go ahead and speak.
Yes,
Well,
I do.
I'm not
And
going to
I'd
be
like-
the only one here. And Howard, I love the garden. Involve
Okay.
the community. It's about the
Yeah.
community for the community. Get the community to come in and dig the holes,
Yeah.
plant the trees, get the community involved. There's
Yep.
so many grants out there for these gardens. Get the grants, get the money, bring it in. Get people to help you out and write the grant. Not staff, not anyone from the town. Community, from our community. There are people in our community that are capable of doing this type of stuff. You can assign them tasks to do and get them doing it, you know?
Yeah.
It's simple. Say, hey, look, I found this grant, would really like to do it. Can you write this grant for me? Not town staff, not staff
Okay.
time.
Jeff.
Unless you have a
Commissioner-
specific, and this is why I'm suggesting you have an assistant for yourself that's an arborist or gardener, someone, I mean, at this point, I think we could justify putting someone as your assistant that is specifically your assistant to help with gardens and all of this. This is where I'm at. And it doesn't, I'm
Okay.
not trying to take things from you. I'm trying to help you here and
Yeah,
trying
I
to keep this
understand.
town moving forward. So don't take
I
this as
understand
a
it, but-
personal attack.
No,
I'm trying
I'm
to
not.
make this out that we need to get things done better. Because the
But-
way it's going,
But
Time
wait
is
a minute,
being
I got to defend myself on this. I am so mindful of it. The first thing I ask anybody that I'm talking to, first of all, do you have the time to talk to me? And it's not about the garden 9 times out of 10. You have to also hear Mr. Daughtry. What he said was that I'm going to give, I suggest that we do, what was your ratio? 20% here of staff for the mayor, or 25% for the mayor and all her programs, 20% for yours, what you're doing, and then you, DeVille and Cohen.
I'm
the
not
rest
sure
of
what
it,
you're
or whatever.
talking about.
Okay, he has, Mr. Daughtry, will you explain what the ratio is, what you said all along about these projects? It's not just the garden. There's many projects that we're doing that we take staff's time. However, I think everybody's been pretty mindful of it. I know the mayor has, I know I am, and I heard what you said. And what I want Mr. Daughtry to do is write down, keep a calendar. That's why if I have a meeting with them, I want it on a calendar. I want a record of it, because I don't want things like this to be misconstrued to other commissioners. And there are a lot of people from the
Howard,
public help.
Howard, understand you are the vice mayor. If you come to any staff and you ask, do you have time? There's nobody in this town that's going to tell you no.
Well, first of all, I'm not doing that. That's the
But
first
no,
thing. I
listen,
am not
you-
doing
but
that.
You just said that. You just
No.
said you do that. You
Yeah.
said the first thing I do is ask you if you have time. If I could rewind this, I would
Jeff.
play it for you. But that's
Jeff, I
exactly
heard
what
what-
you just
Jeff.
said.
I heard what you said. I heard what you said. Okay? And the mayor heard what you said. So this is
I'm
everybody's
now saying
time.
what you said.
Projects. Oh,
What
come on,
you
Jeff.
just said. No,
I
listen.
said,
What you just said, okay? You said, I come to people and ask, do you have time? I'm telling you, because of your position of authority, no one
Yeah.
in this town is going to say no, okay?
okay,
They're going to say, no, mayor, I don't, or vice mayor, I don't have time to talk to you. No, commissioner, I'm sorry, commissioner, I'm busy right now. Newell Daughtry flat out said he can't do that. And I'm questioning his integrity on what he
Well,
said because he
yeah.
lied.
so
He
am I.
told me 3 hours a day are spent dealing with
No
you.
way.
Listen,
No way.
I'm not attacking yours. I'm attacking
Yeah.
his. I'm telling him.
And you know what?
what
You know
it
what, Commissioner Jacobs? I respect what you're saying. Time is limited. Staff is money. But the first thing is, I don't want to waste anyone's time. And I want approval if I do get the time. That's limited, number one. 3 hours a day? I can't even get a hold of some of these individuals. So I heard what you said. And I heard what you said to
Well,
me.
can you
Now, the mayor
consider-
has to do the same. Everybody has to do the same. We'll keep,
Will
the
you
manager said he
consider-
was gonna keep a record.
Vice Mayor, will you consider finding an arborist or
No,
putting a position of
yeah.
an assistant together for you that's a gardener and arborist? I mean, our Miriam's our
Yeah.
assistant public works director. She's an engineer. She
Yeah.
shouldn't really be attending gardening classes. Just throwing that out there. That's kind of
Yeah.
opposite ends of the spectrum here. We have an engineer that's the gardener. Okay. Now, if her degree was agricultural engineering, that would be one thing. But she's an engineer, not a gardener. So we really shouldn't have the assistant public works director being the gardener. We need to have someone specifically for you that is a gardener, someone that's an arborist, someone that can dedicate 40 hours a week to you and your needs. You know, that way we can have staff. So what I'm asking you is, can you put a position together of someone and you find someone that can actually fill that role and help you? That way our town can
Yeah.
continue to price. Look, it would be cheaper to hire someone to work specifically for you than to continue using staff time from the rest of the town. So
Commissioner Jacobs, I'm
that's
not
the
doing
direction
that.
I'm trying to go with that.
You
So-
question the integrity, and you're right on, because I don't do that, number one. Very limited, and I keep it short, okay? But what keeps coming up is when they say, okay, we're gonna look at you and the mayor and all these projects, like having staff go over and work the food giveaway. That's a good program. That's a good project. So it'll cost a lot of money. So we have to decide, we have to be equal with everybody. This is all good stuff for the community. And I heard what you said, and we will document when they are helping me, okay? So thank you.
I'm just
That's a
trying to
good-
say, deal
Yeah.
with put your Facebook page together. You
Yeah.
know, we could have a link on our new website that goes to a page that you maintain, that goes to
Yeah.
your agro equal garden. I want the garden. I like the garden. I love the
Yeah.
garden. I love the fact it's about our community. But it needs to be your focus and you work on it.
Yeah.
Like I'm
I
working
will.
on the police department. You take that and run with it. You got skills. You don't need the rest of the staff doing it. And if you do, let's get someone here to work for you that can do it. Someone that can help you out, specifically you, because your time, you take a lot of time. And this keeps
I
coming back
don't
on
take
me.
a lot of time.
Listen,
I don't.
I'm telling you what I'm getting from staff, okay?
Well,
And
okay.
that's why I'm the
Well,
only look, You know how much I'm in town hall. Y'all see my car there, you know when I'm there, you know when I'm not, and when I'm sitting here at home working, because I don't have an office there. All
But then
right.
again, can I say something? If you're gonna have me, it's for everybody. We have to all be equal here. It's not one person that you're gonna do this and then another person gets to run with it. And we will start off by having the manager keep a calendar. Who's doing what with what projects? All projects. It's not just.
Did
the garden.
anyone else on the commission understand what I was just saying? That he
Yeah.
needs an assistant, someone to work specifically for him and help him out?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's what I'm trying to get at. That's what I'm trying
Okay.
to. I'm trying to help you out and
Help
give
me
you
out.
some
Okay.
assistance.
I got you, my friend. Yes, I hear you. Good. I got you. And we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll get it right. Because it is
Okay,
positive.
Go ahead, Ray, and then Gina.
Okay.
Unmute Ray.
Mr. Daughtry, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
All right, just have a question for you. Are you intimidated in any way by Mr. Clark?
No, sir.
Okay, the reason I ask, because I do like you as a person and I respect you very much. But those same complaints that Jacob mentioned, you also told me the same thing, that Mr. Clark take majority of your time, and a lot of time it's redundant. It's the same thing over and over again. And that's why I'm asking you this question. I don't understand why you're saying, I don't know what you said to Jacob. If he's saying you said it to him, you must have, I'm guessing you did, but I know you actually did say it to me. So did I misunderstood you or?
Okay. May I respond?
Fine. Yes, yes.
Okay. What I have said to you and to Jacob is that when we were working on the drainage issues, on the sewer issues specifically, as well as on the issues referenced the legal fees that the vice mayor felt that he was entitled to, those three areas required a lot of time. The garden, very little to me about the garden, but he did take a lot of time for the drainage issues, for the sewer issues, and the legal issues specifically. What I said in January was that I wanted to make sure that 20% of my time would be available for each of the elected officials. So I would make sure my time was fairly distributed. And he happened to be here in town hall more than the rest of you. So therefore, he did have more of my time. But those issues that I raised specifically, as it relates to drainage, as it relates to sewage, as it relates to the legal issues, were the items that took most of my dealing with the vice mayor. He has been very respectful of minimizing the amount of my time since January in particular of what he needed. And we made sure that at the time that he requested that we put it on my agenda so that I could do it. I have no complaints. And I don't lie.
Absolutely call
And I
bullshit.
don't lie to anybody for any
That is
purpose.
absolutely not what you said to us, that or me anyway. So that it was nothing of this sort. So I'm just gonna flat out say that is not what you said.
I was specific in what I just said. Have no reason to lie.
Oh yes,
Period.
you were. Oh sir, you were specific in what you just said just now.
Yes.
But when we had that conversation, this was not the same conversation you had with me. This was a very different conversation than you had with me. You told me Howard takes 3 hours of your time every day, and you can't get anything done because he's always there. And you can't tell him no because he's your boss. That's what you told me, okay? And I told you you need to limit the time with him. You need to have that talk with him. but you never did, or I never heard anything after that. And that was just as recent as 2 weeks ago. So,
No.
you know,
No,
I'm-
sir. No, sir.
I'm not even going to go there with you. It's
And
probably
likewise, sir. And
okay.
likewise.
Dig in your hole, sir.
I have to say that's what I remember also, Mr. Daughtry.
Okay, may I?
Go ahead, Gina.
Well, I
Well-
was muted. Wait a second. I was muted. You didn't hear what I said. I was told that he was going to spend everybody would spend 20% with a commissioner. And that's what I always thought was going on. And that's what he led me to believe. And he was going to do that. And he has spent time with other commissioners. So if there's a change, we'll limit it and just keep a record so we know what's going on. That's all I ask. And thank you, though, Jeff, for trying to help me. Or Commissioner Jacobs, I should say Jacobs. Okay.
Go
So I
ahead,
just
Gina.
wanted to say that. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to say, whatever happened with what was it, the green thumb people? What was that? Wasn't
Yeah,
there a
they-
group?
Yeah, and
What happened?
and we have a lot of members. There are people that come over. And I think that what Commissioner Jacobs said, that's the direction we'll go in, and somebody will fall into it and will be with us. But there are a lot of people that work and come over there and help community from our town, from surrounding areas. So she had a baby, but she's still part of the system. She had a
Okay, and-
baby, Gina, and she had
Alright.
a little boy, and she's
Mhm.
still with us. She comes over and teaches. You just saw Maria at the food giveaway, which she helped and volunteered. She's involved in it. And
Okay.
many other people are involved. So I heard what Commissioner Jacobs said. I will definitely respect that. You heard what Mr. Daughtry said, but let them keep a calendar so we know what we're actually doing. And that's indisputable. So he'll know. So we'll see more of the time. And because anyway, that's what I'm saying. I'll
Okay,
be very mindful of it. I like what Jeff's trying to do for me, Commissioner Jacobs.
all right,
We'll
well, let
make
me
it-
ask. May I? Can I?
Go ahead, Gina.
Okay, so you're saying that you have members. I
Yes,
take it that's volunteers.
yes.
I know, when this all started, and I'm in favor of this too. Okay, the garden. Okay, but again, I side with Mr. Or Clerk Commissioner Jacobs. And, you are, as far as taking up a lot of, the, employees' time, I don't think that's right. And if we do have those volunteers, are we doing background checks on them? We're supposed to be doing a yearly backup check. Do we have a list of these volunteers? Because I would like to see that, and I don't even know if HR has that list. And also, if we're going to do something like this, and bring somebody else in, I think that we should maybe our next budget. Okay, so it is budgeted that we then consider it.
Yeah.
But right
I
now,
hear you.
it's not budget. Okay,
Well, we're not using it, Gina. You
Okay.
heard Mr. Daughtry tell you, very
But-
limited, very
Okay.
limited.
but let me ask you something. So if you're taking up 20% of the town manager's time, assistant town manager, or time, how does he get stuff done? I don't understand from each commissioner. How is it that he's able to get things done?
That's what he has to answer. He has to tell you that right now.
Okay,
He's
well,
on the screen.
Mr. Daughtry, can you answer that? Can't hear you.
Can you hear me
Unmute.
now?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I make an attempt to be available for each of you. I spend time with you. I spend time with the vice mayor. The two of you is where I spend most of my elected officials' time. Other than that, I'm working on the things that the manager needs to be involved in on a day-to-day basis here in the town. But
Well,
I try to make sure that I'm available for each of you when you have time.
well, my time is very short with you, and you know
Well,
that.
so is mine.
Okay,
So is
and
mine.
I have to agree, and Mr. Daughtry, I have a lot of respect for you, but Mr. Jacob, also Commissioner Ray, okay, you said it to me on several occasions that Mr. Clark, Vice Mayor Clark, was taking 3 hours of your time, and he was talking to you about the garden.
No, not the garden, about the drainage
Well,
in the sewage
combination.
and primarily the drainage
And you
the
could not
sewer.
get nothing done. That's when you came to the conclusion to you wanted to break it up, where you would talk. I think you even sent an email out, if
I
I'm
did.
correct.
That's
Okay,
correct.
that you wanted to spend, and everybody, I think Dietra put that email out
Yes.
a while back, that you wanted to set it because Howard was taking up, Vice Mayor was taking up so much of your time, that you wanted to make it a half an hour, not 20 minutes. It was a half an hour, if I'm correct. Am I correct on that? And that we would go, but make an appointment to see you,
Yeah. And you make the
Okay.
Yeah, that's
appointments
correct.
also.
right?
That's,
Okay.
you make the appointments. It's all to be equal. What he feels he can give to each one of us. Gina, you get his time. I get some of his time. The mayor gets some of his time through the projects. Ray DeVille comes in here and sees them, and I'm assuming Jeffrey. So let's keep a calendar. Let's keep it fair. And I'm more than flexible to do whatever I have to do. And the drainage is important. And I will still say that is the number one thing right now. We have many number one things. The police department is a number one thing. But Mr. Daughtry or whoever else is the manager in the manager's position needs to say, this is what I'm doing. And I thought he was doing that. Right, Mr. Daughtry? Is that what you're doing? You're trying to be as fair as you can, yet still do your daily work.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay,
So we'll keep a log on all the projects, including the food giveaways, everything that we're doing. And then we'll see where those numbers are with staff.
okay.
Okay, Mr. Daughtry, will you do that?
Yes, sir.
Well, the food giveaways, for the most part, most of the time during the week, during the work week, normally, that's Joy, who works on that with a small percentage of Stephanie and a small percentage of Chris during the week. But on the weekends, it's whatever staff members that volunteer their time to come in for Saturdays. And those employees are given time and a half comp time for coming in to donate their Saturdays.
But
So
again, Madam Mayor, but again, what I'm asking for is do it across the board, do it right, and he has to do his work, plus talk with us, plus time is being spent on projects. So we'll just identify it. That's all. And he's been asked to do
Well,
that.
I'm just clarifying for the record, because I don't want people to have the impression that there's a lot of staff that's being utilized for the food giveaway during the week and that I'm pulling them from their other assignments, because the food giveaways are done on a Saturday, so that it does not pull staff away from their given assignments. And it's also better for the community because they are home on Saturdays so that they can partake in the events. So that's why I just want to make sure that the record is clear. Joy is the events coordinator. So Joy deals with the community garden. That is one of her primary tasks is to deal
With everything,
with
yeah.
with the health fairs and the grocery giveaways. Chris is the parks manager, so Chris deals with some of the planning as well, but majority of that is on Joy, who does an excellent job of dealing with it. I mean, Mr. Daltrey, how many conversations have I had with you regarding the food giveaway?
Very few.
Okay.
Yeah. But
that's-
also remember now, when our employees volunteer on the weekends
Mhm.
and they get time and a half, comp
Mhm.
time, what that means is they can take that time away from the regular work schedule that they then are not available to do their normal jobs. So we still have to track it because there is no free lunch unless they are doing it voluntarily. But if they get paid time and a half, comp time, that means they're getting paid.
Anyway, I think we all, well, Commissioner Jacobs has his hand up, Madam Mayor.
Can I ask what projects you have going on, Noel? Because I'm not exactly sure.
Perfect example, sir. The police department. I've worked out exactly what we need to bring our police department in-house and exactly what it will cost us. And once the commission says that that's what they want to do, I can present it to you without a problem. Period.
So why are multiple people working on the same project? So if you've been doing that, where are we at on that? Why don't you give us an update?
Would you like it right now? I'll be glad to do that. Or I can
Go
give it
for
to
it.
you tomorrow in writing. I can read it to you right this moment if you want me to, sir.
Why don't you send it via email to me right now and we'll discuss it tomorrow?
I can't hear you.
I
Okay.
said, why don't you send it
we are
email to me
currently
right now
spending,
and we will discuss it tomorrow morning.
You know, I have a question. The mayor
Okay.
left. I just wanted to.
I'm
find out-
here.
I'll do the email after this commission meeting is over.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, when did Chris McKine become park manager? I thought he was.
He's a crew leader management. He's operational supervisor is what it's called.
Okay, all right.
That's
All right,
that's his
all right.
title.
Okay.
He's not the parks manager like Parks and Recs manager. He's the operational supervisor.
And he does a great job. He really is out there for helping. Okay, I think,
make this
Madam
off.
Mayor,
Okay.
Madam
Okay.
Mayor, may I think
Yes,
we all
and then we're gonna
heard,
move on after.
yeah, good comments from everybody, and we need to be mindful of it, because time is money, and we know. And I appreciate everything everybody said, and we're trying to do things for the people, for the community, and we are. And we have to pick and choose, and we have to see what things are costing us. So I think we have to be mindful of it, Madam Mayor and other commissioners. We will.
Okay. I'm gonna move around just for a minute because I don't know. I know we have a couple of folks on the line, and I kind of want to get them off of the line. So, the first one I believe is, where is it? My RFP number 11F. I'm sorry, because I just don't want to keep them up all night with us till like 12 o'clock midnight like we normally do. So 11F, I was asking for an update on the RFP for the FEMA monitors for Hurricane Dorian. If you can recall, I brought this up back during Dorian that we needed to have FEMA monitors. I brought the one of the organizations in that has the contract with the county. But it's that weird library thing. Is Mr. Cook still on the line?
Yes, good evening, Mayor. I am on the line.
Okay. So could you, Chris, are you there?
Yes, Mayor, I'm here.
Okay. Because I had reached out to you on Friday, for an update. Also for you to reach out to him. So what I would like to know is where are we with the RFP, or if you guys could have a conversation, because I know that, Mr. Cook, you're currently, in the process of getting a contract with Orlando.
Yes, ma'am. We are working with several cities, one being Edgewood and Orlando, to do some of this work. Of course, some of it is the disaster response piece, in particular, the debris monitoring piece. What we were speaking with you about was other disaster response work and related to Dorian for your operations.
Okay. And I know that they just opened up the pot for mid-cities to get a minimum of 50,000 versus up to $15 million. And so Chris and Todd, could we please move forward on getting this RFP done and also having the conversation with CMTS, because there's a lot of resources that's on the table that's available for us. There's a lot of money. Mr. Cook, could you elaborate a little?
Yes, Mayor.
And also state your background, please. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me here. And also, I wanted to mention that Mr. Jeff Stevens here is on the line as well, and we're partnering with them with iParametrics in this as we go forward with providing disaster relief services for jurisdictions and communities. My name is Preston Cook, as the mayor mentioned, and my background is I was an emergency manager in the state of Florida, serving as the director for Orange County and Hillsborough County, respectively the fourth and fifth largest counties in the state. Just retired with over 30 years in the business, and now I'm working with CMTS, as the mayor mentioned. My background in emergency management has expanded from Hurricane Andrew all the way up to, of course, Dorian and all the storms and disasters in between, for the most part, that affected the state of Florida. What we were really wanting to do was to not, as a part of the disaster response assistance to your town, is to talk about not only the disaster response in terms of debris management, but also any of your other needs that could result with managing grants, especially the FEMA grants, as we know they're very difficult and cumbersome and convoluted in some cases. As we talk about the COVID-19 response, that's what I was talking in addition to with you, Mayor, about the possibilities of going after some of those federal dollars that are available, and as they pertain to public assistance dollars that are possibly available that could assist you in getting reimbursed for some of the activities that you may be undertaking as a town to assist your citizens, whether it's, as you mentioned, putting sinks and materials in parks, or as I've talked to some of the surrounding towns and cities, they're providing, and you are as well, providing food distribution or buying PPE for maybe your first responders or your healthcare workers or any of your staff of your town. So those types of things, it's possible that some of these dollars that are available could be reimbursed to you through some of these federal mechanisms, and there are several. I mentioned one, public assistance, but there's also others that say the Department of Justice, dollars that are out there, as well as others. I know just recently today I heard that the second leg of the stimulus dollars may or may not actually be allowed to be used to help cities and towns, but there still may be other dollars that come available. But Jeff Stevens is with iParametrics, and if you would, I would really like for him to talk a little bit about some of the opportunities in the work that he's seeing in terms of helping communities like yours be prepared to deal with going after some of those dollars and making that as effective as possible. If that's okay, Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm Jeff Stevens. I'm the Vice President of Emergency Management with iParametrics. we're a close partner with CMTS and have worked a number of jobs both on the East Coast and as far west as Oregon. So one of the major things is, have you all applied for, submitted your request for public assistance for COVID-19?
You submitted some requests.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So that opens up the avenue to receive some federal funding there in response to that. And as Preston was indicating, there's a lot of possibilities with those dollars. A great example is, did you have this GoToMeeting account to be able to support everybody prior to the emergency?
No, of course not.
So that's a perfect example of a potentially reimbursable expense, that you got it to continue operations of the town, to allow for social distancing, but allow the business to of the town to continue. So there's different avenues that you can leverage that will really be helpful. And the contract that Preston's talking about, is a wraparound support contract. Not only does it help you with your debris monitoring, efforts when you have an emergency, and can help with that emergency response and staff augmentation. It can help guide you through recovery efforts. And it's not just recovery efforts with PA. With this disaster, COVID, there's likely going to be some hazard mitigation dollars that are coming as well. So are you engaged with Broward County's local mitigation strategy, or do you have your own? Are you updating those projects that are in there to make sure that they're reflective? Because that's going to be a year in the future that we may be able to tackle and tap into that money. But getting prepared for it now, getting shovel ready projects now, will increase your ability to get funded and be prepared. So there's things like this and different things to also think about. Also, FEMA's new Building Resilient Infrastructures and Community Grant, which will be announced late this year. That actually, it's a yearly funding. The funding won't come until 2021. Potentially, we're hoping. And if that does come, it's 6% of the disaster relief fund spend on the congressional level. And they just put in $45 billion for COVID response. So just to kind of put you, 6% of 45 billion is quite a substantial sum of money that's out there for mitigation. So it's these things that are looking down the pike. So there are things that, these are the types of avenues that we assist cities and towns all throughout the country in pursuing and navigating these complex processes.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so then what I would like to do is I would like to direct Chris and Todd to work on either seeing if we can piggyback off of one of the contracts that they currently have. If not, we already voted back in October to go do a RFP. So if we can't piggyback, could we get the RFP prepared and put out there on the street since it was voted on? Chris, Todd?
I'm here. Yeah, that would be doable. I don't, I haven't seen these contracts. First I've heard from these two gentlemen. So if you wanted to give them my contact information, I'd be glad to work with them. I think when it comes to grants and things like that, which you're talking about, we do have a grant specialist on as a consultant that may be able to assist you and work with that too.
Yeah, well, originally we had the discussion of piggybacking off of the contract they had with the county. Remember, they were number 4 on the list, and you said we couldn't piggyback.
Yeah,
with Broward County.
Right, because the county has a list of about I think there were numerous companies that they had, and it wasn't, but they didn't make a selection of one individual. There was so similar to like when the CCNA is set up, where there is a list of companies. If we want to follow the do an RFP and prepare our own list, that I can understand doing that, but I didn't think we could just pick one group out of multiple providers that they had available.
Mm-hmm.
And
no. Well, I mean,
Madam Mayor, if I can interject, just to kind of talk specifically about procurement in these times with COVID. Procurement is normally procurements fall under 2 CFR Part 200. the uniform purchasing requirements for the federal government, it allows you to actually get the services that you procure reimbursed under the PA program. So there's two points I want to make there. First is those purchasing regulations have been temporarily relaxed. So if you need, if you have an existing list within Broward County that you can look at, talk to a couple of the vendors, and then select one of the vendors on an emergent basis off that, that is going to be looked at as, an exigent or emergency circumstance to get the procurement done, so that you can have somebody come in and advise you on how to support post-disaster recovery. The second point I wanted to make is that also within the FEMA public assistance program specifically, the reimbursement is for somebody to come in and support you with preparing the post-disaster recovery grants. You actually get 5% of your total disaster costs at 100% reimbursement. Normally, as you all know, it's 75-25. The state picks up 12.5%, so the municipality is responsible for 12.5%. But when it comes to management costs, and that overall percentage, it's 100% reimbursed for 5% of your total disaster cost. And oftentimes, too, firms like ours can work with you to also reduce that 12.5% even further, oftentimes to zero, because I'm sure that the town has received, a number of donations from the community to help support COVID recovery efforts, to support the staff as they, are delivering, mission critical services. So there is some potential opportunities there as well.
Okay. So what I'm going to ask is, Chris, can we go ahead and either see if we can piggyback, or if not, do our RFP so that we can move this process forward?
Yes.
We called your office on Friday, and he did leave a message.
Okay, I'll be glad to speak to Mr. Stevens. If you'll go ahead and we'll get our contact information exchanged, and then we can find out what path he thinks is best, useful for the town going forward.
Okay.
And
All right. Go ahead.
One other point, just a point of clarification as well. There's two different processes that we could go through here. One is the emergency component that Mr. Stevens was just talking about, and the other is the longer term contract that we're mentioning that encompasses all of the normal processes. So as we have those discussions, we will review both of those processes and help make recommendations as to what's the best process for you as a town to go through to get all of the services that you need.
Okay, that sounds good, Mr. Cook. I wasn't trying to not address that area also, but it's first I'm hearing about both of these programs, so it's new to me. I'm glad to talk to both of you all about it.
Okay.
Great. We look forward to it.
Look forward to it.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your spending your evening with us.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Okay. Thank you. Looking forward to hopefully working with you in the future.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Okay. Bye-bye. I'm not finished, Aiden. Okay. I'm not sure if we still
Don't
have.
hurry up, Aiden.
It's like, look, we done. I'm not sure if we still have the two gentlemen on the line for the signs. They're
Ready?
I don't know if they're there or not. They said they were on the line, but I don't know if they are. But I will just read to you. Basically, one text was Adrian. Hi, Sherry. Don't want to bother you. I know you're working hard. I believe after I dropped 80% of my business and I had to let go of 88 of my employees struggling to keep Untoasted open. I believe this shouldn't have been a case. I just want to inform our customers that I'm open for takeout. I do understand the rules and the laws of the city, but also in any normal day, I wouldn't have a sign hanging. So they're looking to put like basically those temporary signs saying open, call. You see them at the Chipotle, like, don't come in, call and order, we'll bring it to your car. And like I said, it was in a couple of the emergency orders. I believe Lighthouse put it in theirs. I know it's Glen Trost, whichever city he's from. I remember reading it in his very first order. So I would like to do something to temporarily allow the businesses that are open, the essential businesses, i.e. those providing essential services like food, to be able to have temporary signs out there to say that they're open, takeout, something along the lines of that. But again, only for the essential businesses. And more so that they're saying we're open. Yes, we're open. Please support your local business. Call. Here's our phone number. A lot of them have put signs in the windows. They put out the little, what are those little ones that wave like that? I don't know what the heck they're called. The little wavy signs and things like that. So that's what I'm asking. I know Mike is on the line.
Those are called feather signs. The
Feather signs.
flags.
Yes. So I would, Mike, are you there? I know he's there. Is he?
They're all
Michael
on mute.
Oh, I don't know how to. He says yes, he's there. I don't know how to identify him.
I
Mark?
don't know.
What do you want me to? How do you want me to figure out how to identify him?
He can talk because I have the callers are all unmuted, plus whoever is 214 is been sent and unmute. So the rest is staff. And so it would have to be someone on there. They'd have to, maybe they're muted. I don't know, but everybody who's, let me see this person.
No, I just want Michael to give his input so that we can, if we can just do it via motion to temporarily lift. He said we can temporarily lift it.
Yeah, Mayor, I think without the input from the property business owner, I think the commissioners understand the concerns that they have. If you were to make a motion that would allow them to temporarily use signs advertising their availability for services at these essential businesses, and to waive any enforcement action against them for a period of say 45 days, that should be sufficient to allow them to do that.
Okay, so that sounds good. Who's going to make the motion? Howard's making the motion, but we can't hear him because he's muted. But we'll second it.
Follow the rules. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so I lost my train of thought. Okay, so Attorney Ryan, just help me along if I get out of line. So I make a motion that we allow businesses, for example, like restaurants, to put up temporary signs saying that they're open for business. Is that right so far?
Correct.
And we're going to allow them to put these signs up, and we waive any enforcement action for a period not to exceed 45 days.
Well,
Yep.
I think, all right.
What do you want?
Second. You need a second
Okay.
first.
Well, okay, is that, Madam Mayor, is that the motion? Could you ask the attorney if that motion is what is the intent of the commission?
Yeah.
Attorney Ryan?
It sounded to me as if that is what the business owners had asked for, but you can make, if you get a second, you can have discussion, and if you have to modify it. You can
Okay.
do it.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay. Discussion?
I do. I think we should have like an end, you're saying 45 days. I think we should have like an end date.
Well, not to exceed 45 days, is what I said.
The 45 days is from April 22nd to 45 days. We won't be over COVID by then. I can guarantee you that.
And if we're over, then, okay.
And I said, Gina, not to exceed. Then we'd have to renew it. If everything is going good, there's no problems, then bring it back to us and we'll correct it.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Jeffrey, go ahead. Go ahead, Jeffrey. Jacob. I'm sorry, Jeffrey Lewis. Lewis, not Jacob. The other
Hi,
Jeffrey.
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to clarify, we're talking about all banners?
No, I can't hear them.
Just ones for essential personnel for essential businesses, like whether they're doing a flag sign or whatever kind of signs they need to promote their business to let people know that they're open. And it's mostly like for those restaurants. I don't think we have too many other places. Do we have any other places that are really open that are serving the community that are open to the public?
We still have essential businesses like body shops and car repairs and everything else that's there. So we just want to make sure that all essential businesses, flags, banners, feathers, and that nature.
Okay, so flags, banners, and feathers, is that? I don't know what the difference is between the three of them, so. Howard, flags, banners, and feathers?
Flag banners and peacock feathers.
And I guess window signs.
Yeah, they gotta let the people know that they're open. We know that's a price. So, and we're not to exceed 45 days. So then Jeff can come back to us and say, we made a big mistake. Here's what we need to do to find things. But we got to give them an opportunity to allow people to operate businesses. As we know, it's a national crisis. That's just the way that I feel.
Any other questions? No? Okay, roll call.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Clark, seconded by Commissioner DeVille. Commissioner Cohen? Commissioner Cohen? I can't hear you.
Unmute, Gina.
Why don't we, can we do it? I think we should do it like 60 days, maybe. 60 days.
You want to amend Howard's motion?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll
Wanna
amend
do
my.
that?
Yeah,
Wanna
60
do it
days.
for- Okay,
I don't have a problem with that. So, Madam Mayor,
Okay,
ask
and-
Ray if he'll accept it.
they can have like sandwich signs, is that what they call them? Sandwich signs.
A signs. They're
Okay,
called A signs.
A signs, okay. All right, I'll
so-
second.
Okay, so you made the amendment, Howard, and Gina made the
Yes.
second on the. Call the roll on the amendment and then call the roll on the, original.
Okay, hold on one second. We did an amendment now for 60 days. It was Vice Mayor went ahead and made the motion and Commissioner Cohen made the second. That's for the 60 days, correct? Or are we just going ahead and making a friendly amendment to the original motion to changing it from 45 to 60 days?
Correct.
Thought he amended it. I don't know. It's up to you, whatever Howard wants to do.
I amended it. I
Okay,
amended it.
does Commissioner DeVille accept the amendment of 60 days?
Yes.
Okay, so there's one motion on the table. It is made the motion by Vice Mayor Clark, seconded by Commissioner DeVille to go ahead and essential businesses are able to have temporary signs. The code enforcement is waiving action for 60 days. They can have flags, banners, feathers, window signs, and A signs. Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs,
I'll try it there.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. All right, so was that everybody I need to get off the phone? I hope so. Okay, wait, no, wait. Okay, I think we covered everybody that was on the phone. I'm hoping we did. All right, so now we're gonna go back to, I want to do that one yet. 11D, why is that on there? Discussion change the vehicle from the building department enterprise fund to the town's general fund. I thought this was an internal issue, is it not?
It's still not done. It needs to be completed. So we're not paying for a car allowance continually. So that's why I put it back on here again, because it's still not complete.
Okay, so
Chris,
who need,
I'm not sure now, if this is finance, if this is, Chris said this was finance at the last meeting. So we just need to get it done.
Yeah, because it doesn't change ownership. The town is going to own the car either way. So we don't need to do any kind of change of registration with the state. It needs to be shifted as assets on the balance sheet, so that it goes to the administrative office as opposed to the building department, and then it can be used for employees in that department.
so Who needs to make this actually happen is my question.
I'll call Harry tomorrow and we'll figure out the method that it needs to be done. But if the commission has already taken the action stating that to go forward with whatever procedures need to be done to make the change. So, I mean, we've been given direction. We just need to, I'll coordinate it with Harry. I haven't spoken to him about it, so I'll speak to him and make sure it gets done.
Do you just want a formal vote just so that we don't have to bring it back up?
Yeah, if you want to do another one and just state that
We already did one already.
I thought so, yeah, at the last
We already
meeting.
did one already.
Right.
So that's just us voting on stuff that just doesn't happen still? Okay. All right. Hopefully this will get done. 11E, discussion professional services for police department. Clerk Commissioner Jacobs.
Yeah, we have the 3 quotes. They're all in your backup. And I'm just trying to move ahead so we get this done. I want to go with David Howard. I think he's got the best quote, and it will. We should have this all together within about 90 days.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to entertain 2 motions here. The first motion is your recommendation is David Howard. You have the 3 quotes. Chris, does it meet all the requirements to move it forward?
Yeah, it does. There, you have 3 quotes, yet they're under 25,000.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion to hire David Howard as the police consultant for the town. Anybody
Do I
make
need
a
to?
motion? Howard is talking and I can't hear him. Unmute.
I was trying to help Jeff. Just say motion made. I was trying to help Jeff. Just say motion made. That's your baby.
Motion made.
Okay, who's gonna second?
There we go. Second.
Okay, roll call.
Excuse me, but to be more descriptive, just say motion to retain services. Of
All
David
right,
Howard.
motion to retain services of David Howard for the police department.
Yeah, and an amount not to exceed 24,000.
And yeah,
That's what his
amount
number is.
not to exceed 24,000.
Second.
Roll call.
Motion made by Clerk Commissioner Jacobs, seconded by Vice Mayor Clark. Commissioner Cohen?
Is it in the budget?
Yes, it is in the budget. We were budgeted 40,000 for it.
Okay. Yes.
Commissioner DeVille?
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes. So the second motion that I will entertain is that we move forward. Because after my conversation today with Mr. Daughtry, there was never any direction given that we are looking to move forward on starting our own police department. And so I'm not quite sure where there was this misunderstanding. What happened?
We've had this discussion before Agatha was here, during, after. This discussion's been on here since last summer. So we've had this over and over again. So I guess I'll make a motion that we proceed forward with starting our own department.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, own police department, right? So
The own police department, yes.
Okay, second.
Okay, roll call.
Motion made by Clerk Commissioner Jacobs, seconded by Vice Mayor Clark. Commissioner Cohen?
Well, the only thing I would like to see that, I'd like to see what this guy has to say, to see if we're gonna be able to do that. You know what I mean?
Do you want to know? Do you want to know the kind of particulars we're looking at?
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, right now we're looking at our budget for the police department. We're paying $3.5 million a year for police services.
Right.
Bringing it in-house with 16, a staff of 16, we're looking at a budget of about 1.7 to 2 million a year, which saves this town $1.5 million a year, and actually gives us officers who are in our town all the time. 24/7. They're not going to be in West Park. They're not going to be in Miami Gardens. They're not going to be in Miramar. They're not going to be anywhere else other than here. They're for our town and specifically only our town.
Okay, what about insurance, Jeffrey, and all that? Is that all?
We're looking at a total budget under $2 million for our own department. It's $1.5 million less than what we're paying Broward right now.
Okay.
So that's everything. That's what we're looking at. So we're going to keep it under. It's not going to cost more. It's going to be $1.5 million less. If we look at Mayor, what's our ad valorem taxes?
It's $5 million a year.
And what are we paying for BSO for police and fire?
7.
So
And
we're
fire, you see,
negative
there's a
$2 million a year, which we should be paying 60% of our ad valorem or less for police and fire. This saves the town $1.5 million next year.
Okay,
That's great.
Mhm.
all right,
And
yeah.
I would like to add that we don't have that money. Like, we already know that we've pulled out the budget, out the reserve every year for how many years? Pulled over $6 million. Howard will tell you, Howard knows the number right off the top of his head. We pulled over $6 million out the reserve. We don't have any more reserve. We haven't been able to put anything into the reserve in over 6 years because we've been taking out to cover the cost of fire and police. We don't have any more money to come up with. In addition to that, because of COVID-19, we are now going to experience a 24% loss in our taxes for next year. So we pulled $1.2 million out the reserve to cover the budget for this year. Next year, we have to pull 1.2 plus 0.1 that we're losing, which is 3.3, and we don't have 3.3 to pull out of anywhere.
Madam Mayor, can you tell the commission how much extra we're paying every year for BSO as our contract keeps going up and up?
Well, every year you also have a 5% increase. So just think, we pulled the 1.2, we'll add another 5% to that $7 million that we paid for this year.
Gina,
Add another 5% next year. We don't
Gina,
go up on our taxes 5% every year. Aiden, you okay?
Gina,
Yeah, go ahead.
Gina, it would be financially irresponsible for us to continue the way we're going.
Yeah.
We'd be bankrupt.
The other benefit to it is we actually have officers dedicated to our town. They will be in our town. They won't be anywhere else. They'll be in our town. So you will see them going through the neighborhood. You will know every single one of them. Your residents will know every single person there. You know?
Okay.
It will be a lot different than what we have right now. It won't be what this town had many, many, many years ago. Okay? So this is being done the proper way, the right way. We will be accredited, and we have everything put together. I've been working on this since last summer, so it's looking good. And
Well, you
shaping
know
up
I'm
to have it
about
going
saving
soon.
money.
Well, this is a big chunk of money, so.
Okay. Yes.
And I don't think we have an alternative. We're bleeding profusely, and we have been for years, as the mayor stated. We have no choice.
This is so much better for our community in many different ways. One, we get the service this community deserves, and second of all, it saves us a lot of money every year. So, you know, I can't see a better thing for our community than doing this. So that's why I've been working on it and trying to get this brought forward. So
And you
we'll
got
have
the
it
green
soon.
light.
We'll have everything together for you, and we'll be giving you another proposal of all the numbers, how it's going to look. All the commission's going to be involved with this. This isn't just a one-man show, even though I've been working on it for months now. You guys will be included in everything, you know?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, you can continue on the roll, Marla.
All right.
Commissioner Cohen?
Yes, but I just want to say that I always looked up to BSO, and I want that to be said. And I know you have Howard and Mayor, you know, so
Yes.
but you know, we got to do what's right for the town. And I believe that, you know, saved a lot of money. You know, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Commissioner DeVille? Sorry?
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes. Okay. So that is done. The reason I asked for 11G to be put back up there is because of the fact that I would like to see if we can put the canopy extension in the queue for the FEMA for COVID, because of the fact that we're using the canopy for the food distribution. And so we could possibly get the canopy extension paid for through FEMA, through all of these COVID reimbursements, and also you can actually put it into the system beforehand, before actually paying for it, to see if they'll cover it. So instead of us waiting to budget for it for next year, because we are using it, and we had an incident this weekend where we had the temporary tents up and it hit someone's car and caused damage to the person's car. I would like to put this into the queue to see if they would cover it.
Okay, so I'll make a motion, Madam Mayor, that we add the canopy to get a grant or whatever we have to do.
No, it's the FEMA queue. The FEMA queue for COVID.
Okay, for the FEMA queue for COVID. Does anybody have, is Todd on the air? He could give us the you want the dimensions, approximately how much it was, or dimensions? Just do what I did. Is that okay?
Yeah, just,
what I did?
yeah.
Okay.
Todd knows
There
what
we
he has to do to put it into the queue for he knows what he has to do to put it into the queue for payment.
Okay, so made.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. I think I lost folks. Okay, there's Ray. Okay, can I get a roll call, please?
Motion made by Vice Mayor Clark, seconded by Clerk Commissioner Jacobs. Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille?
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes.
I need to run to the bathroom for a second. Chris, can I give you your local gas option taxes while I run to the bathroom?
What do you want me to talk about?
12G local gas option tax.
Yeah, those are,
Okay, Howard, you have to go.
those are the same, gas option taxes that come up each year. What happens is the county has approved these gas option taxes, and each of the cities in the county gets a portion of those gas taxes, and it's allocated by the population in each city. So they adjust it each year, and I don't know what further information you want me to do. I mean, I could go ahead and just read them by title, and we can, the commission can approve them if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's probably the easiest thing to do. Yep. Okay. So it's going to be, 1 second, please. All right. Just trying to, I had them here a minute ago. All right. It's going to be I'm going to read them by title only. Also, I don't think it's necessary to read the entire resolution. They get repetitive. You want to get started. Okay, so a resolution of the Town Commission, the Town of Pier Park, Florida, authorizing the town to make and enter into the 2020 amendment to the interlocal agreement with Broward County, Florida, providing for a division and distribution of the proceeds of the Broward County additional local gas option tax for motor fuel ordinance, authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver said 2020 amendment for and on behalf of the town, providing for severability, superseding conflicting resolutions, and providing an effective date.
So do I hear a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
There's a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Chris? Chris, you're doing one by one, or you're doing
Yes,
all of
yeah,
them in
yeah,
one
yeah. I'm
shot?
just gonna read each title separately, yes.
Okay, so
call the-
this one, this
Honey.
first one is the 0.6 cents, right?
Right, that was 12G.
Okay.
Call the roll.
Sorry. Motion
That's a
made
20
by
20
Clerk
048.
Commissioner Jacobs, seconded by Commissioner DeVille. Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille?
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs?
Sorry, my button wasn't working. Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
The
So go
next
ahead.
one next resolution is 2020-047. It's a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Fair Park, Florida, authorizing the town to make and enter into the 2020 amendment to the interlocal agreement with Broward County, providing for division and distribution of proceeds from the Broward County 5th cent additional local option gas tax on motor fuel for transit, authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver said 2020 amendment for and on behalf of the town, providing for severability, certificate, completing resolution, to provide effective date.
Is there a motion to adopt? Motion to adopt?
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Oh, you had two on that.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Discussion.
Go ahead, Ray.
I'm just confused. Why is it three different ones? I thought we were going with the first one.
Yeah, no, because there are three different taxes, and I
didn't
started
know.
with 20, yeah, I started with 2048, then we'll go 2047, now we're gonna do 2046 next. I had them in reverse order, apologize for that, but yeah, there's three different gas tax options that the county has. And each of the programs gets adjusted each year based on the changes in population. So they divide the whole pot divided on the number of persons in each of the cities, and then on the unincorporated Broward County. So there'll be three of them altogether.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second.
Who made the motion? Who made the second, please?
Commissioner Jacobs, did you make the motion? Did
You made the second?
I made the second.
you made the motion? Ray, you want to make the motion?
How did he second if nobody made the motion?
That's what we're saying now. Do you want to make the motion, please?
What's the motion again? Oh, Lord.
For resolution 2020-047, which is for the 5%, for the 5 cent gas tax.
Motion to adopt the resolution for 2020
And Jeffrey, your second?
gas tax.
Okay.
The 5%, right?
Yes, this was the 5%.
Yes.
Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille?
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
And then the final one, do we have a motion to adopt? Somebody gonna make a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
We need a second.
Second.
Okay, I think Gina had that one. Any discussion? None. Call the roll.
Motion made by Clerk Commissioner Jacobs, seconded by Commissioner Cohen. Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille?
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, Madam Mayor, take over the seat.
Thank you. Okay, 12C Comcast emergency temporary upgrade, cost not to exceed $5,000 over a 4-month period. Everyone received a call on this. This is an emergency item because our system wasn't able to handle everyone working from home. So Comcast is basically charging us close to $1,200 a month with a 4-month contract. So I'll entertain a
Okay, what
motion
was
for
the,
Comcast.
okay, I'll make that motion. What was the number not to exceed?
Not to exceed $5,000 for 4 months.
I'll make that motion to pay Comcast not to exceed $5,000 for 4 months.
And I'll second it.
Any discussion? Nope. Roll call.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Clark, seconded by Clerk Commissioner Jacobs. Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes. 12B says FYI Food Forest News article. Howard?
What is that? Oh, that was just in response to the newsletter that I imagine Agatha was working on. And that we were told to do a topic of what we were going to choose to do. So I chose the food forest, food garden, you know, and that's why I wrote that. And I was just putting it in there so I could turn in my homework.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Can I ask for a couple of little changes on here?
Yeah. Sure.
Somebody needs to start muting.
So what major is supporting this project? I haven't read the article yet, but I just see like it's supported by the major and the commission.
The mayor.
It don't say mayor.
The mayor.
You sending me
That's a
into the
typo.
army?
That is a draft. Okay. So
Okay, I just want to make sure you weren't sending me into the army or something.
no, you're drafted here.
Okay, just checking. All right, thanks. Okay, Broward College, 12A, Broward College, MOU. All right, so we have the, I just want to kind of update you on where we are. So Broward College is looking to put almost like a satellite office in each community where there is, where there's a need, where there's a low graduation rate, where there's a low education rate, where there's a low salary rate. And that fits our community because 30% of our residents live below the poverty line. What they're looking to do now, instead of them paying rent for the third floor, they're looking for space for free amongst different places. They're asking us to help identify places in the city where they can do a computer lab, like at Coca-Cola or at Prologis or at any place where there's actual computers. And what they'll do is they'll come in and train people. They have to be residents of Pembroke Park, and they will give them certificates or associate's degrees or different things like that. They have phlebotomy, clinical training, nursing programs, things like that. They just have to be residents of Pembroke Park. So that's what they're looking to do now, is for us to partner with them and a local business so that we can kind of identify the people and partner with getting the people into the classes so that they can get adult training to help them find better jobs. So that's currently where we are with this, because they don't have money to build out. Leave my phone alone, Aiden. They don't have money to do a build out or to pay rent. So they've actually partnered with about 10 cities so far in doing this program that, has changed from last year's program. I know, Gina, you shook your head. So
I have some concerns about this because, we were talking about revenue for the town and we were going to rent this out to make money. And now you want to bring them in. And what about security? Are they going to, have security for us? Are they going to pay that? Are we going to be responsible? Are they going to have insurance? That stuff's important stuff that, but again, what if we start our police department? We might need that upstairs.
Okay, Gina, they want to partner with like places that have computers already in this place. So they want us to identify like Prologis or Coca-Cola to do it on their facilities. But it would be a partnership with us, and it would be Pembroke Park, Coca-Cola, Broward College. Pembroke Park, Prologis, and Broward College.
But it's not using our third floor?
Not at this time because of the fact that the third floor is not convenient for what they need,
Okay,
which is they
because
need computer labs.
Okay,
They need
Well-
places that are already kind of situated for like a classroom type setting.
okay. I just
Okay.
want to make sure that, because I remember that you wanted to bring them in before, and you
With
did
money.
talk about the third floor a couple of times, and I thought this was where you were going. Okay,
That's where we were going, but
Right.
unfortunately there was a breakdown, and now the program has changed because they got 10 other cities on board. And so now what they're offering the communities are to partner with them, but to use workspace for free, where it's actually already set up to, to get moving. So they want computer labs. They want places that already have computers where all it is them coming in, bringing in an instructor. And they would provide the programs to the community for free. So whereas an associate's degree is normally $8,000, they would provide it to our residents for free. So our residents wouldn't have to come up with tuition money. But we have to kind of help them locate businesses in the city that they could go and use to do the classes.
so they'd be using our facility, right?
Coca-Cola, whoever got a
Coca-Cola.
computer lab. We ain't got a
Okay.
computer lab, Gina.
No, okay. I didn't know they had one.
Some of the businesses do. I keep calling it iRide, and I know I'm not saying the name right. Right there on 30th and 30th Avenue, right on the face of right next to Daniel's Antiques and Nagel's Antiques. There is a computer lab right there. It's something iRide, I something. Howard, unmute.
But Gina, what she's saying, they are not going to use our third floor. They're going to go out into the community. For example, Coca-Cola, Prologis, maybe Chip Tech, that's as closest that
That
I
is
can see.
iRide.
Okay, but she has another name for it. And then we are going to get the benefit where our residents will be able to go to school and get an education or a certificate to improve their daily life, to make more money, to improve themselves. That's the way I heard it. Am I correct in the way I
That's
heard
correct. That's correct. So you have all the information there.
All right.
To read up on it. Their PowerPoint presentation is there, as well as, they're looking for us to help do the introductions to those companies like iRide, iRoof, Prologis, Coca-Cola. And then it would be a three-way partnership with the city and the business and the school.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Okay. So we have, I think we're down to the last two. Okay. So, both of these are gonna be problematic. Let's go with 11H. So this is just for discussion. I just kind of wanted to let you know where we were with this. I told you last 2 weeks ago that I wanted to have some discussion with you about public-private partnerships and bringing in folks in place that can handle the private-public partnerships, which is to get these projects completed using private money for a public benefit, which is for, helping our community to build, to do things like getting the sewer systems in place, getting the stormwater drainage, getting the new city hall built, things like that. So, I have a proposal here from Larry Springs. I know that we're not ready to take the steps to do it, but I wanted to have the discussion to let you know that this is what I'm looking at. So Larry Springs is a former city manager. He has a consulting company that basically deals with this private-public partnership and bringing together the money so that the cities can get projects done without it costing us, and then later on getting reimbursement from grants and things like that, where they will actually go out and secure the money. His specialty is also, he is a CPA, and he's focused on resource recovery because we need to find some ways to bring some money back into the city because we already know that we're looking at a $2 million hit to our budget for next year. And also he specializes with the private-public partnerships. He specializes in that public works department director type situation on helping to deal with what we have going on as far as running a public works department and getting those projects completed, dealing with the grants and everything like that. So I just kind of wanted to have that on your radar for discussion for today, not for any type of formal vote, but just to put it out there for you.
Okay, may I?
Yes.
Okay, I went over it and I'm gonna go over it a good couple more times. I think the price there is ridiculous. It's, he's asking correct me if I'm right. He's asking $65,000. Okay, all right. I don't feel that we have a lot of consultants, and I think it comes to a point where we need to stop. Okay, and you know, I mean, we have HR, she's a consultant. Okay, you have the police that Jacob is working, that's a consultant. Okay, we don't need this man. Once we get a manager in place, that's why it's so important that we start focusing on, interviewing these people that the 3 out of the 5 or there's 3 good picks out of the 5, and that we need to start interviewing because, this is so important, and then we wouldn't need this. And talking about grants, again, and I'm going to keep bringing this up. I know you don't like to hear it. We have a grant writer. She's in Tallahassee. She has not brought a grant to us. She hasn't brought any grants in 3 years. So come on, she's sitting there getting paid and not doing nothing. That's money that this town is losing. Okay, but I'm going to tell you, we have a lot of consultants. We have lobbyists that we're paying, Mayor. Okay, I'm not for this. I really am against this. I took some notes here. Wait 1 second. But and then your personal policies. When I read that, that's HR department. That's what we're paying HR for. So to bring a guy like this in, it's nonsense. Again, that tells me that we're not looking out for the betterment of this town, especially when it comes to taxpayers' money. So I'm totally against this. Okay, that's $65,000. And when you read it, come to the last page, there's no guarantees. And you're talking 8 weeks, $65,000. So I'll tell you, I'm totally against this. We have and we also have in-house people that can consult us. So we don't need this. This is totally nonsense. And it's misuse of public funds as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, Gina.
If we ever did something like this.
Okay.
That's my opinion. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
That's your opinion. I thank you for your opinion. Okay,
And
that's why I
thank you
said
for
we're
listening to me.
having the discussion.
And I
because of
thank
the fact that I wanted to have the dialogue with you because of the fact that we have been at a standstill with getting our grants, with getting funding, with getting projects completed.
And we
including the
have Dee
flooding.
up there that she's better start working and bringing in grants, or
Gina,
let's not
Gina,
pay her check.
Gina,
Let's
do you
not
have-
sign that
Gina?
check.
Okay, Gina, have
Yes.
you looked through all the emails that Dee has sent? Because Dee
She
has been
hasn't not-
DC Strategies has CC'd you. There's
Yeah,
over
since
400
the OIG's
emails.
brought in, she's been,
Gina,
now
Gina,
she's sending
Gina,
emails out.
I'm gonna ask that you sit down with Mark and go through all of the emails. There are
No,
two
I think
books.
she needs to come to a meeting that she's never been at and start, coming to our meetings, okay? Like Connie does and the rest of them. And let her speak.
Gina,
She's
Connie,
never been at our
hold on,
meetings.
I'm sorry, stop for 1 second. Connie only came down to the meeting after I requested that they come down. You couldn't tell me what Richard looks like or Bill or any of the other ones until I requested that they come down.
Okay.
Dee
well,
has come down here. Dee has come down here several times.
I've
Dee
never
has
seen
met
her.
with.
I have
You
never
might
seen
not
her.
have seen her, but she's been in there with Todd. She's been in there with Dave.
Yeah.
She's been in there with Howard. Howard, have
Well,
you
she
not
needs to
met
come
with
to
Dee?
our meetings, and she needs to start doing, making, getting grants.
Okay, so
for us,
again, you
because she
have
has
to have
not
somebody
performed.
in the Public Works Department that's going to respond to those email requests to get the information to do the grants. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. There's 400 emails of different grants that have been sent to the town that the town is not taking any action on.
All right.
And we've had
Well,
that conversation before.
all right.
The OIG has cleared her
So-
because of the fact that she's been doing her job and providing that information to us.
Okay, so once we get a public works director that can do that job, okay, that's somebody that we're gonna hire, but not for, but just hiring somebody that we're not even budget for, $65,000 is ridiculous.
Gina, there are several reasons why I said we're having the discussion.
I know,
Okay,
but I'm just.
Because I'm trying to bring people to the table.
No, I'm a
I'm trying to
taxpayer
bring,
and I care,
Gina,
Mayor, I'm a taxpayer and I care about my money.
Gina, I'm a taxpayer too. I'm a taxpayer too. Okay, and I want to see our projects complete. I want to see us having roads. I want to see our new city hall. I want to see facilities that our residents can actually utilize. Okay, and that's why I keep trying to bring
Well,
folks to the table
I
to
don't
try
think
to get
so.
things cleaned up. This
No, we
guy
don't
is
need
not
him.
coming in alone for $60,000. He's bringing a
Hey,
team in.
But
which
Mayor,
is
we're
what
gonna
you
get a
need.
manager in to do the job. We
Yeah,
don't need to
okay,
pay
and
this
we've
guy
had two managers come through.
$65,000.
Okay, and we've had two managers come through so far that have not done what needed to
No,
be done.
well, guess what? There was a problem.
We've had two that have come through, but the
Well,
only person that you can sit here and say that has
we need to
actually
make
come
better
through and done their
choices.
job,
We
that
need to
has
make
actually-
better choices.
the only person that's come through that has actually done their job was OL in providing what we needed, the blueprints to get us started. That's it. And
Yeah,
we
well-
keep bringing people in and nobody's paying attention to the fact that we have
Well,
the
you keep on
blueprints
wasting,
written
but you keep on
and
wasting
nobody wants to
taxpayers' money.
implement.
It's
No
gotta
one's
stop. We don't need this guy. And then you hired, what's his name? I just thought of that. What about Brian? Okay, he's another consultant that you brought in, Mayor. Come on, it's gotta stop. We got enough consultants.
You can have
We don't
all
need to
in-house,
pay, and
you
this
can
is
have
not budget.
consultants.
We don't need him. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, I thank you for your opinion. Like
Thank
I said, we're gonna have more discussion regarding this because we do need to get our projects done. We don't have anyone. We do need to find the funding sources to complete those projects. And that's why I said, and we need
That's
somebody
why
that's
we
gonna
gotta get
focus
people
on.
in to work
Okay,
and do
Gina,
their
Gina,
job.
let me talk, please,
All right.
because you've talked and I've listened to
All
you and I
right,
respect
all
your
right.
opinion. But at the same time, we have a city to run. And if we sit here and we don't do anything, we're gonna let this city plunder. We have no money. We have a $2.1 million shortfall for next
Mhm.
year.
I
We
wonder
need
why.
Somebody that knows how to do, because COVID, that has nothing to do with us. That's not our fault at all. But we have to bring somebody in that's gonna handle financial resource recovery. We don't have that.
Well, we don't need him.
We don't have that. We have somebody that wants to raise our damn taxes, but you don't have anyone trying to sit here and create ways of bringing money back into the city. You got to find somebody that's going to focus on doing that and do it well.
Well,
so you're going to have to bring
let's
somebody
get
in
a
to
right-
deal
let's
with
get
that.
the right
You're going to have to
manager.
deal with bringing somebody in to deal with the public works. You don't have that. We had a manager that came in here and did absolutely nothing for how long?
Well,
You had
gotta
a
make
manager
better
before that
choices.
came in and did absolutely nothing. You had a manager before that came in and did absolutely nothing. Okay,
No.
the only time
I
we've had
disagree
people that
with you.
come in and actually do some work was the consultants. That is
I
it.
disagree with you, Mayor.
OL sat here and did everything, and we have yet to implement it. And we brought people in, giving them the books for them to start implementing, and
No.
nothing was done. You just said that an hour ago with Vitas. We sat down and did the personnel manual. with
Vitas did his job, and I
nothing-
thought he
and
was very
nothing occurred.
professional.
And we still don't have the personnel manual adopted. We had Agatha come in. Agatha has yet to adopt the personnel manual. You had the OIG that we promised we were going to get these
The
things done.
problem
and
is you don't
nothing
give
has been
nobody a
done.
chance.
Nothing has been done. I have
Nobody
one
had a
person-
chance, Mayor. So
6
you can't
months?
say that because Venus was
months?
very
6
professional.
months and nothing was done. What was done? You had
Well-
31 absences.
Yeah.
31 absences
Well,
in
this-
5 months. For real?
And there was a lot
I was
going
never
on.
here. Okay, Vice Mayor, please go ahead.
We don't need
Unmute your
this.
phone, Vice Mayor.
Can we please move it on? I think we've talked that issue. Can we move on to the next issue?
Sure, that was just discussion. Eleven C, final decision, Public Service Director, Commissioner Cohen, Christopher Ryan, attorney.
Give me 1 minute. I gotta shut my dog up. Hold on. Go ahead. And get him outside or something.
Calendar.
Okay, this
Ray,
is
are you
final
there?
decision night, everybody.
Link.
Okay, and I want this to
Checking on you.
I don't want to be going on and on and on about this. So I want to make a motion at our prior meeting that we had, clerk commissioner, had Todd told him to bring evidence of, and he was cleared by the OIG. Okay,
Gina, it's hard to hear you. There's someone that's not muted.
Okay. So, at a prior meeting, Mr. Clerk Commissioner, Jacob had asked, Todd to show that, he was cleared by the OIG. So I don't have any information. I haven't seen anything, any backup on that. And we talked about that the last meeting. I mean, as saddened I am to even make a motion to but you know, he can. I want him to either retire or be terminated. Okay, and I'm gonna stick with that. I just don't have the faith in him anymore. That's just my opinion, and I like Todd a lot. Please, and I don't want him to take that personal because I like him. But I just don't feel that he is performing for this town, okay? And he failed this town. He not failed me, he failed the people of this town, the residents, okay? So Chris, can I make a motion?
Certainly you can make a motion.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion. Is everybody, okay. So I would like to make a motion that, again, that Todd, you retire, resign. I like the word retire, or he be terminated. Can I get a second?
I will second it and I have discussion.
Okay, go ahead with discussion.
Has anyone asked Todd if he's had that paper? He brought it forward. Todd or the assistant manager who is backing him up?
I provided an email to the manager that they were researching the information because there was a study, there was an investigation done through CDBG and HUD of all the HUD projects. And they said that they were waiting for their archive people to come back in because they have been out because of the working from home.
Okay, Jacobs, how do you wish to?
So, how many weeks have we been discussing this then?
Somebody,
how many weeks have we been discussing it?
It's been in a number of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. I don't know. It's been a period of time.
Well, I've said all I've said about it. I tell you told you guys my feelings. Again, I like Todd, but I'm backing Cohen on this. As you know, the OIG report says this. The other report said this. You guys have seen the work for the last years, and now I guess I have to ask the mayor this. You said 400 emails were from the grant to Public Works. Is this?
Yes.
This is new information here. So grant information is going to Public Works that not being responded to.
No, I have received very, very few emails from Ms. Harper.
We actually sent in, we had this OIG request twice, and we sent in the information, the emails from DC Strategies. So Mark has that if anyone wants to see.
Okay, what is that information, Mayor?
The emails that have been coming into the town with the various grants that were available or funding.
Madam Mayor.
Okay, go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Okay, what I would like to do at the last meeting, I said that I would also like to have some input on this. And there's a lot of things that's in the works right now. So I would like, I don't know if this is the proper place, Attorney Ryan. I would amend Commissioner Cohen's motion to say 6 months. So he would have 6 months to get all these critical issues in line, where then the next person could come in and take it over. Okay, so that would give us enough time that we just don't go scrambling. And I think the manager would back me on that. Let's see what he says about that. Coordinate everything. He is on the TAC committee. That's the MPO, Technical Advisory. We have to get people to replace that. He has other things that he has out there, a certification for the sewer. So I think 6 months would be ample time. That it's not going to be ample time, but 6 months I think is a reasonable time that we could get prepared and make the transition. So that's what I would like to do. Madam Mayor, I don't know how you want to put that together, but
Go ahead, Jacob.
All right, so it's no news to anybody here that the Vice Mayor and Todd spend a lot of time together, and you continually defend him on all of this. And
well, no.
at some point, you just got to say no more. And I see where Gina's at. I've been saying no more, no more, no more. That would be like just knowingly let things continue on. I know you're trying to say 6 months, but really, what's going to happen in 6 months? Or are you going to come back and say, oh, no, he's done good in the last 6 months. We're going to continue on. But here's the thing. What if he walked tomorrow? Just Todd up and walked tomorrow. Just throwing this out there. We would still be in the same exact place. These things are already in motion. They're already in play. Just have to continue where we're at with them. It's not like we're putting anything else new out there right now. We're waiting on things coming back, and I understand they're making requests, but someone's going to have to be in that spot no matter what. There was someone here before him. There's going to be someone here after him. It's when this town is drawing line and saying, no more. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I mean, this is news tonight to me that we got 400 emails from the grant writer who is not getting responded to, and
that's not what I said.
No. That's what the mayor said. That's what the mayor said earlier. She said there were 400 emails or something that the grant writer had sent, or 400 grants that they had sent that aren't getting responded to. That's 400 opportunities to bring money back into this community and fix the infrastructure, fix the things around, fix the plumbing, the sewer, the water, the flood. whatever it happens to be, that's all potential for this town. Now, when I
Well-
first met Todd, Todd told me I'm a grant writer. That's what I do. That's what I originally got hired to do. I sat down and had a discussion with him. He told me what he does here. He told me how it works. Well, if he's a grant writer, that was an opportunity 400 times to, have grants come into the town to bring money in. So anything that wasn't responded to was a missed opportunity. That's the way I'm looking at it. That's a missed opportunity to bring money into the town to fix the town.
What-
And with everything else that we've discussed over and over again, I'm with Gina on this. We're in the same boat. Enough's enough.
Okay.
I think all you're trying to do is put
No.
another Band-Aid on a festering wound. So
No, I'm saying time certain. But let's get the manager to reply and talk about this. I'm saying time certain. I'm not saying what if. I'm saying set date. So is the manager there? Is Madam Mayor, are you here? Where did she go? Where did the mayor go? We have to wait for the mayor.
Can we break
Something-
for 5 minutes until the mayor comes back? 'Cause
Yeah,
This
we
is a
have to,
very important issue.
right, I agree. So let's take a
Alright.
break for 5 minutes. Okay, everybody?
All right.
What happened? Your floor flooded? Yeah, the floor is completely flooded right now. I gotta go deal with that. In your kitchen? No, in the bathroom. Oh God. I don't know. I just missed what happened on this phone call. What just happened? Who's here? Who's not here?
Hey, we're taking a 5-minute break. We're waiting for you to come back.
Well, I need
Right,
more
yeah.
than 5 minutes because he just flooded the entire bathroom.
What, 30 minutes? 15? I don't know. You tell me.
Give me 15 minutes.
Okay.
And maybe 4 hands and a vacuum cleaner.
I don't know about that, but.
I got about 3 inches of water sitting on my floor.
Okay.
All right.
Can you hear me now? Mark? No.
I can hear you. Okay.
I can hear you now also.
Okay. All right, good.
So it's
You can
working
hear
on
me?
your end and my end? Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's acting weird. I don't know what's going on, but I want to make sure we're still good.
Are you able to pause this portion of it or is this still running?
It's still running. Let's mute it for a second, then I'll call you on the phone.
Okay, I was gonna tell you, mute everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem.